We only get what we give. And this is the week where we will receive everything that we have been giving into over the last 3 years. If we have been giving into spiritual growth, spirituality, spiritual maturity, and mental health, mental growth, mental stability, and mental maturity, and mental strength. Let's open this up and take a look. This might work better for some people just to be a straight podcast because I'm just going to be squirmy. That's just what it is. And this is something that my that's so funny because this how let's start with the weekend coming into this week. Today, I mean this is Sunday that I'm recording this, but Monday when you guys see this, it'll be the quarter moon in Scorpio. How was your weekend? This is going to give us some context. So, over this weekend with the moon in Scorpio, it's always the time every for 2.5 days every month where we feel out these boundaries. We feel out what we're going to allow in and what we're going to keep away, what we're going to keep at a distance. And there's very country feelings about this. So, um, this is very important. And I'm actually going to give you guys, when we get into the day by day breakdowns, I'm going to help you guys with how to use Monday to kind of set yourself up for the rest of the week. So, this weekend, how are you feeling? What was coming up? Okay, there are probably some big crunchy feelings to work through. Monday is the quarter moon, the waxing, gaining, and light quarter moon crisis in action. We're needing to do something. We're needing to, you know, act a little bit more overtly to bring something to fruition, to bring home the full moon of next week on the 19th. But there are still going to be, it's not going to be a straight resolution. If you think you're coming into this week with everything figured out, no, there's one more plot twist coming. And so for me, over this past weekend, by the way, just so you guys know how we do it on the Watch Natalie channel, we have water, we have multiple drinks, we have the coffee. It's just been so weird here. And then we also have a root beer float. So I had a root beer float for the first time in like so long over this weekend on Saturday night. I just kind of I realized that I was watching The Mummy Returns, having a root beer float, and just like happy as a clam. Like I was so happy and in love with my life. So that's the Scorpio, moon for me. And I had this realization that my mother came through for me this year in 2024. And I was reflecting on it over this past weekend that she came through for me in a way that she did not or was not able to or could not end of 2020 coming into 2021. And I was just so grateful because that's like the relationship that was so hard to work on over these past couple of years. Like she had stuff to do, I had stuff to do. It was just, oh my God. We both went through like so much pain. I had to be so hard on her and I had to be so hard on myself. Like it was hard, very hard. And I was just so grateful over this past weekend that we made it. My father and I, we did not make it. I'm waiting for him to pass on so we can resume our relationship. I'm sure they're all picking apart for his money and his will and stuff. So I don't want none of that. So again, boundaries. But I was reflecting on these things over the weekend, like, wow, it was really hard. It was like the hardest. But like we have this like connection now. We have this relationship now. And it's so much better for it. And when I do, like just generally when I'm needing to work on a relationship with anyone, there's always, that needs to be some kind of boundary so that I can work on my things, they can work on their things. And then we kind of, we'll circle back when we've done these things and then give it a go and see how it is and see how much we, the work on its feet. And what I'll say is that you can do that. You can put up a boundary with someone. And the way I do it is that I'm gone, but not far. Okay. Especially with the social media connection nowadays. Like when people break up, when people move, like no one's like really gone. So it's like really not worth it to ever be unkind to someone because you just never know like when they're going to pop up again or when you're going to pop up for them again. Like it's just so stupid to be a bad person or a mean person or an unkind person just for practical reasons, let alone like spiritual reasons. So if anyone's doing that coming into the week, just look at it that way for yourself. Like it's hard because you want to like love people and then, or they want to love you. If someone's putting up a boundary with you, just like be respectful and just remember that to yourself, gone, but not far. Just like we tell people, I'll be here whenever you're ready to, be honest. I'll be here whenever you're ready to, grow up. I'll be here whenever you're ready, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So there might be, for me, it was more like reflecting, like, oh, I'm so grateful. Like, she's a Virgo. I mean, I'm just so grateful that we made it out the other side. Wow. So you guys might be doing that. Like, you might have been in some big thing over the weekend where you're working it out, like in real time, or it could have been more like where you're just like reflecting on things. You're reflecting on your boundaries, you're reflecting on the bonds and having feelings about it. Like, oh, yeah, I'm so glad that I got closer to this person. I'm so glad that I put in the work with this person. I'm so glad that I stayed away from this person. I'm so glad that, you know what I'm saying? So, maybe even a little bit of both as you're coming into this week. So, this is the day you're on Monday. This is when you have to make these decisions about the bonds that you're going to allow in your life and the boundaries that you're going to use to keep things out of your life. Not just people, but ideas and mentalities, preferences. There's so much that I feel like that I've already said, but I feel like there's still so much that I have to say. And gosh, like where do I let me put it let me just put it this way. You can live with someone, be around someone, spend, work side by side with someone. You can even spend just like a few minutes in line at the grocery store with someone and pick up their subconscious self-limiting beliefs, pick up their subconscious self-empowering beliefs, and also share yours with them. You can do this picking it up from people you see on TV, whether it's, people in interviews or like actual like television characters and movie characters. And it's just, this is where you let it in or keep it out, the Scorpio area of life. And so you want to be very, very critical. This is a critical week. This is a critical week. You want to be very, very critical about what you let in and what you keep out. So on so that's like how we're gonna open the week is where the boundaries are and where the lines are. And this is the beginning of the week. This is like the real test of integrity. Okay. This is going to be a challenge of integrity that you're going to have to move through. And it's, if you take care of it early in the week, it's going to make the rest of your week so much easier because you won't be so destabilized and you won't be so discombobulated by what is coming up Wednesday to the rest of the week. So early in the week, you want to draw your boundaries by truth, and you want to draw your boundaries by your morals, your ethics, your beliefs. And so honestly, I love stoicism. I love the stoic journaling. I love listening to the YouTube videos. I also love this app. So if you have not tried any stoic apps, this is the only one that I've tried, and I like it a lot. So they have like I think it's like a 3 or 7 day free trial, and then they do a charge, but it's so well worth the money. And I don't know about you guys, but like the astrology apps tend to just kind of make me more anxious. Like I have Moon and Mercury in Aquarius in my eighth house, and the Mercury squares my Pluto in the fifth house. And so I have to be very careful about like ruminations, obsessions, compulsions, subconscious stuff, what I allow into my energy field. And I'm very sensitive. That's what psychic is, being sensitive to more of the vibrational spectrum. So if you're psychic, you need to work on having really, really, really strong boundaries. If you're not psychic, you got to work on softening those boundaries to become more porous so that you can develop your sixth sense. Bro, like for instance, last week, so I did this whole, went down this whole Mary Magdalene gospel wormhole, like for this new moon on August the 4th, which thank you guys being so much for being so patient with me. I switched over my menstrual cycle from being a red moon witch to a white moon witch, and it just took a lot out of me. That entire last week of July, first week of August, it was like I was like a zombie. The energy was not there. Super quickly, red moon witch, you ovulate on the new moon, and then you bleed on the full moon. And I've been like that like for a long time. And I just switched over with this past moon cycle. So, which means that you bleed on the new moon and then you ovulate on the full moon really quick. When you are on a red witch moon cycle, that's more like of the traditional witch, where you're like the medicine woman doing herbal concoctions for diaper rash over there, and you're helping so and so, giving, making a little medicine kit for so and so over there, and you're like doing witchery for the community. You're doing things, you're using your magic for others and for helping people. And then when you're on a white moon cycle, you're a white moon witch. That's more traditionally associated with like mothers and motherhood, and basically all of your magic and energy going inside of you for yourself and for your creations, which previously was kind of just limited to children. And now we have many more expressions of creation and what that means. And so that's what I'm on that now, and I switched over. But so thank you again for being so patient with me. I love you guys and letting me just be the spiritual leader than I am. So I really appreciate that, because that is how and when I found Mary's gospel, and that's life changing. I finished it. I read the other half, and I'm very surprised. I can totally see why they kept it I totally see why they kept it. I get it. Totally get it. It's wild. It's it's wild. It's crazy. So not crazy crazy, but like you know what I mean. So um but I posted on my TikTok about it, and then like people are calling, you'd be so surprised. People thinking that I'm like good buddy Christian Natalie, and I need to tell you all right now, that's not me. Don't project that identity on me. I'm not good buddy Christian Natalie. Stop calling me that. I'm kidding. I call myself, I'm making a joke, but like that's not it. And people are calling me, asking me for things, wanting something from me, thinking that it's one book. I read one little gospel and everybody flips out. But it's like, no, that's not what that means. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, this isn't kumbaya. All right. This is not, oh my God, kumbaya Christianity. No, 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 no. No, absolutely freaking not. I read one little gospel. Um, but it was okay because I made a post about suicide, crickets, zero calls, zero texts, zero anything. So I was like, that's better. Then I was able to have a nice weekend doing all the things that I loved. And I was just so grateful. I was so happy. It was very magical. I love a Scorpio moon. It's very wonderful for like just doing your own thing, like in privacy, or with like really, really close comrades, really close people. So, but as you're kind of coming into this week, you need to make it kind of very clear. People very often mistake kindness for weakness. And so this is a week where if you are normally very, very reserved and you don't speak up, you're going to have to speak up. And I can see that this is going to be the case for me. And it's like, oh my God, I'd rather not do that. But it's like, we're going to have to. So Capricorns, I'm saying Capricorn sun moon risings. So, um, the so think about that. Think about like the challenge of integrity, because there's going to be no way around it. People are not going to be able to get out of this. There's too much momentum. This is like the top of the third act. June was like act 1, July was act 2, and this week is like the top of act 3. There's like this big thing, there's this big event, there's the big thing that's happening, there's the big talent show that's on, there's like the big thing. And then that full moon, it's going to be a little bit of a plot twist though, and then it's going to be that full moon on the 19th, the resolving action. And the week after that, and then part of this is going to be like, okay, people are not going to get what they want, but they're going to get what they need. So this is where we are in that story. And what else do I want to say about the beginning? Mm, so the overview, let me just wrap this up if I possibly can. The overview, you're entering the week with needing to make these boundaries, listening to the integrity. And you have to know deep within yourself, like don't fool yourself about right and wrong, good and bad, honesty, dishonesty. If you need to hold very firm about your morals, your ethics, your integrity, set that up in the beginning as you're coming into the week, and being very humble and grateful. And like I said, honest with yourself. Okay. Because then we're getting to like the middle of the week where bombshells are dropping and there's new information. Maybe it's about now, but maybe it's about the past. Maybe it's about a person. Maybe it's about an event. Maybe it's, but it's going to be something coming up. And that's going to be putting everyone on like, I don't know if it's like defensiveness, but people are going to be fighting about like what's right, what's wrong, the people are going to be arguing, fighting, and everything. So I'm going to always steer you away from conflict. There's nothing of a bigger red flag than conflict. Conflict is like, we want to stay absolutely as far away as possible from conflict. So this is going to be more of like a mic drop, like say what you like I'm just going to say what I got to say, and then I'm going to leave it to the rest of fate and humanity and the rest of the people and the rest of the players on the board to do what they're going to do. And honestly, you guys, you have to, I'm going to tell you what it is for me, but you're going to have to figure out what it is for you. Like for me, coming into the rest of August, so I've been working on pyrokinesis behind the scenes. I'm a Cancer ascendant. Every single Cancer sun, moon, rising has been working on something behind the scenes. We've been plotting, we've been scheming, we've been plotting and planning. And for me, it's been my pyrokinesis, and I'm so excited about it. And all I'm really doing right now is curating my wardrobe and figuring out I'm going to change my aesthetic, not a lot, not like hugely, just like a very little bit. I'm just going to like tweak my aesthetic a very little bit for the next era of my demos on TikTok. And so I'm kind of just like planning all that, writing the book, planning the docos, like doing all of those things. And so I'm going to be fine. Like I'm going to be just freaking fine. And whenever that happens in its own like time, as far as the TikTok demos and all of that, give me one more lockdown. I just need one more lockdown. Give me one more lockdown, and I will teach everyone. We can teach everyone telekinesis. Can you imagine? Can you imagine one more lockdown? One more lockdown. That's all it would take. I think it would just take one more lockdown. Everyone's at home. Just like how everyone was doing like the matcha dalgona and everyone was making the pancakes. I've been very nostalgic. I watched this one musician's like vlog, like their quarantine vlog. Like there's something about that. And so it would just take like, I think one more little itty bitty lockdown, or everyone's at home and everyone's going to get so excited to learn telekinesis or pyrokinesis. And we can do it. We can teach them. And then we walk out of this, we were going to blow up this popcorn stand. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, all this, I have no idea if we're even going to have an election. The people, listen, I've been priestessing super hard. And so, we went from this, like what the monarchy, like a ruler ruled government, a ruler ruled people. And then we move to like, democratic government. We're going to move to self-management, but I don't know if the people are ready yet. So whenever the people are ready, they're just going to do it. They're not going to do elections anymore. The people are just going to start doing it. They're going to make their own infrastructure. They're going to be completely self-independent outside of government, politicians, all these career politicians. None of them can be trusted. It's done. Like that system is done, over. So September to November, it might be a complete demolition. Maybe the people really are going to be ready. Because if people are still fighting, that's the red flag. They're not ready yet. Remember, we're moving away from conflict. That's not the way. It's like trying to change another person. It's not the way. Blue ocean strategy. This is what I learned from the TV theatrical negotiations when I was in Los Angeles. From the head, I learned this from the NED, the National Executive Director, the head negotiator. This guy negotiated like football teams and things like that. I learned this from him. Blue ocean strategy. You go off and do your own freaking thing. Like the people need to do. The people need to go and just do their own thing. And people have tried it before, and the government blew up those towns. So it's going to happen when there's going to be enough momentum, enough critical mass I hope you, if this is bothering you, me like doing this, I really hope that you just listen to it because I know that it does bother my mom. Like, and my friend, my one friend, like when I have like a big idea or I'm like telling them about something, like I make them sit down. I'm like, sit down. And then I'm just pacing back and forth. And it makes like a lot of people uncomfortable. So if it does, just go ahead and put it on just your ears. So that's just what we need. I think we just need one more lockdown. And I might be waiting for something like that. Like I'm still I do everything as I'm guided, as I'm told. So I'm not like this isn't like Natalie's ideas. Like everything I do, it has to be I have to have it like channeled. So if I have to hold back, I have to hold back. Even if I want to go, but if they tell me to hold back, if I'm being told, I have to do what I'm told. So I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, when the people are ready, they're just going to do it. They're not going to fight back at the government. They're just going to do their own thing. So we'll see whenever they're ready for that. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't even know if there's going to, it's either not going to, it's going to be September to November is going to be pretty crazy. But film and television always do so wonderful in a recession. So excited for that, of course. But this week, like I said, this is kind of like the momentum has been building. So June, July, August, this is kind of like we are who we are by this time. And these are just like consequences. Like you've been building this for years. Like who are you? Who are you coming into this week? Because there's no cramming for these tests. And something about this week is going to harken back to like the end, like the middle to the end of July. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be like the same situation or the same people involved, but the thematically, there's going to be something. So let's say you were Cancer rising and maybe the Mars Uranus conjunction in your 11th house of Taurus, like the middle of July last month, maybe that was like a friend stabbing you in the back. Okay, maybe it's going to come up again, but maybe it's not that friend. Maybe it's like a different friend that's going to try and stab you in the back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's going to be something. So, like I said, you don't have to worry about anything because you've been truth, love, integrity, and you have everything. You're going to be just fine. So, week starts, put up those boundaries. Make sure people know that that you are not good buddy Christian Natalie. Because honestly, you guys, anyone that asks me for forgiveness, that's not my apology language. That's not my apology language. There's apology languages, just like there's like the love languages. I took the test. It's 0% forgiveness, 0% asking forgiveness. My apology language is restitution, and there's no time to make up for anything in 1 week. So there should be no one asking me for any kind of forgiveness. I don't even, guys, honestly, forgiveness is something, in my opinion, this is something that is just like, that's like a personal thing. Like if someone is asking me for forgiveness, first of all, it's insulting. And second of all, you don't need me to forgive you. You need to forgive yourself and move on and be a happy person in your life. For me, I believe the same thing. I take all my own advice. I apologize sincerely. I make amends and I just leave it. I leave it for them. I don't put any pressure or expectation on them. It's their decision. I work on forgiving myself, doing what I can to make it right. And guys, whenever I fuck up, I'm like Jack Skellington. What have I done? All is lost. All is lost. Like I'm legit completely clueless until I get shot down in the sky and I'm like, I stole someone's holiday. Well, there's still time to make things right. I don't know if you heard my elbow pop, but it popped and it was amazing. So you just gotta like, there's so much I want to tell you guys. um, so if you're doing the apologizing, don't ask for forgiveness. Kind of just like apologize and put it forward, and you just really have to work on forgiving yourself and moving forward and being happy and just hope that they're happy. And if you know if they want to interact with you, okay, but that's not always like the best thing anyway. Like I said, I'm gone, but I'm not far. No one's really like gone with social media. And then especially if you're spiritual and you astral project, or maybe you're starting to hear dead people or something, like you know already, like people are not like gone. No, we're all connected. So um I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the good buddy, the good buddy Christian thing. So you just, like I said, want to be very confident, just be very confident in your bonds and in your boundaries so that you feel good. And if you're feeling anger, anger is a human blessing. It's such a good thing about being human. Anger is a feeling that protects us. It tells us when our boundaries are being pushed on or outright crossed. So if you're feeling anger that someone's like saying something or telling you something, you got to ask yourself, are they pushing on a boundary? Are they giving me unsolicited fucking advice? You know what I'm saying? Like, did I ask you, or are they not crossing a boundary? Are they not crossing? So if they're crossing like a mental, spiritual, emotional, financial, physical, sexual, time, energy boundary, your anger is saving your life and is trying to help you and is so take that anger and be justified in pushing back and say, I need to take some time. I need to think about this. I need, and but don't, guys. Okay, so reading the rest of the Mary book, the writer has all these stories about like like one of the apostles would be after Jesus died, be going to a town and talking about Jesus Christ. And there's like this girl that like listened to him for like 3 days. And then she just like left her family. She just left her family. Young girl left her family to go just listen to Paul tell stories about Jesus Christ. And he was like, I don't want nothing to do with this. And they kept getting into trouble because he's like, look, you're a young unmarried woman. Society is going to jump all over your shit thinking you should be married, all this bullshit, right? So he's in the town, some town, and she's following him. The king of the whatever sees her, wants to marry her, and she's like, no, I want to listen to stories about Jesus and be a devotee. Bro tries to kill her like 3 times. The executioner has like a come to Jesus moment and like doesn't kill her. Then he tries to put her in this thing with a lion, and then the lioness befriends her and lays down and doesn't kill her. She eventually gets killed, but like people leave their families and leave their jobs and leave and just like the power of their faith to take a spiritual path has compelled people throughout millennia to like go forward with like a material blindness. And it's very impressive for me to read about all this. I'm like, wow, they go with this like material blindness and they're just like going forth, like being led by their faith, by what they know, by their psychic connection to their source, to their higher self. That's impressive. Or like modern day when you get these high schoolers where you get the shooters, holding the gun to their head saying, renounce God, renounce your belief, renounce your faith. And they're like, no, boom, like that's so powerful that we have that kind of that strength of connection to integrity, to morals, to beliefs, that we believe in the right thing so hard and so deeply and so true. Go ahead, take the body, take my physical body, take my life, I'm going to walk away from all this. It's because it's not the real thing, you know? Very interesting. So you need to have that kind of unshakable faith in your integrity. And if you can set that Monday, you'll be fine. You'll be fine for the rest of the week. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start. That's your overview. Let's go ahead and break this down day by day. Monday, the 12th of August. This is a quarter moon in Scorpio. This is when we have the crisis in action, something we've got to do, an action we've got to take. Make sure it's just on your integrity. Okay. Because it's a challenge of integrity. It's a challenge of integrity. Um, if you pass it Monday, it'll be so much easier for you for Wednesday and for the rest of the week and for the rest of the month, and it'll just help you, okay? Set up your boundaries by truth. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. That's the most important part. The moon in Scorpio will also trine Saturn, but then make a square to the sun, which is a quarter moon. So the this is interesting. So the waxing, gaining in light quarter moon in Scorpio is the challenge to the integrity. It's a challenge to the heart. Your heart's on the line for the rest of the month. Your heart has to be aligned with truth, love, integrity, okay? But the trine to Saturn, which is going to be like the hard teacher this week, like the Saturn is the lord of karma. It is the teacher of the zodiac. And that's like the center. of everyone's stress this week, the moon is going to trine Saturn. That's your back door. And that's what I'm helping you guys with right now. So this is your out. Your out for the rest of the week is in Monday. Monday in that trine to Saturn. This is your out. The moon in Scorpio opposes Uranus and Taurus. Opposes Uranus, trine Saturn. Free your mind. Break out of your patterns. Break out of the rut. Let yourself be free. Let yourself be liberated. Let yourself relax. That's what faith is. It's a clarity. It's a clarity about your whole life. When you really have faith, when you really have belief, you don't have anxiety. You can't have both. You can't really believe in something and have the anxiety and anxious thought. There cannot be like 5% of you that has the anxiety. It's like holding you back. So, Monday, I want you to use Monday to fully commit yourself to the bigger integrity of what you believe in. But you have to be all in. You have to have a hard line boundary. If you're going to trust that person, trust them. If you're going to have the boundary, boundary. If you're going to, okay, but don't do this back and forth. Don't be on the fence. It's going to fuck you up horribly, horribly. You're going to be, let me help you with this. Okay. So I bet the people that are the most stressed out about all this big astrology are the people that are probably the leaders, and you're probably the most prepared, but you're the most stressed about it. And this really is the week for leaders, because leaders are the ones that we have to make the difficult decisions. We have to know what's best for everyone and make the decisions that is best for the group. So if you're already a leader, you're going to have a better time with this. And I'm just talking to you leader to leader to help you through this so that we can all do this sort of together. That you need to trust yourself as a leader. You really do. You need to believe in yourself if you're leading a family, if you're leading a company, if you're leading a group, or there's so many people that have their own online communities nowadays that there's industry built up to sell and to market to people that have their own online communities. You can get your own app, you can get your own website, you can get your own virtual assistants, you can get AI to do things for you, you can automate your workflow, you know what I'm saying? You can hire people on Fiverr for very, very low amounts of money. Like there's industry, there's to you know what I'm saying? So whatever your thing is, if you're doing lashes, if you're doing nails, whatever you're doing, everyone, this full moon on the 19th is about what's best for the group, what's best for the collective, what's best for everybody. But the new moon was in Leo on the 4th, which means the heart space. How are you going to take your self-expression, your love, what makes you personally, selfishly happy and shine, and how do you make that good for everybody? It's not enough that there's just like a great dancer. That great dancer has to contribute to some like dance troupe and go and just dance for little kids and teach little kids how to dance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that has to be channeled into something that does serve some kind of bigger altruistic humanitarian purpose. So this, like I'm saying, you're probably so much more prepared than you're giving yourself credit for. Okay. So Monday is the day that you are the leader in your life and you are feeling Saturn. You're feeling the responsibility. You're feeling the integrity. You're feeling the pressure. You're feeling the morality. You're feeling, you know what I mean? You're feeling it. You've been feeling it and you're feeling it Monday. So use it. So use it to break out of some kind of stagnancy or some kind of rut. Okay. Free your mind, Neo. Free your mind. Because if you can cultivate that kind of like self-liberation and self-freedom, like I said, you're going to be great. You're going to be fine for the rest of the week. Tuesday, the 13th of August. Okay. So basically, and guys, I did not have, I'm working on these other two videos for my patrons. So I just did not have any time. So All the littler aspects I totally took from Cam White's astrology. So if I'm off, he's off. By the way, shout out, thank you to Cam White for still using the word retard. Cannot tell you how validating that is. It's such an affectionate term. That's what they called me growing up. And honestly, like I did spaz out a lot. So I don't take it so personally. And he's like the only person that I see that uses that word. So I just want to say thank you very much because um especially being like a comedy writer, like nowadays, like it's like there's just things you just can't say. You can't say it. Cannot say it. So I feel I feel really good that I have like the shield of my brownness and my womanliness to kind of if I can use that to kind of protect comedy in some minuscule way, it makes me happy to do so. Um anyway, what was I? Tuesday, so Moon in Scorpio trines Neptune in Pisces, so people are going to stew. People are going to stew obsessively. Um it's a great day to be alone. Lie. Get out of it. Lie and go be alone and think about things or go do something happy. Go skiing or something with not skiing, something with water because it's Neptune and Scorpio. But people are going to stew. They're going to be really like, oh, for the positive or for the negative. So it's that people are dreamy and really creative and stewing like that, or people are drinking and drugging, or people are obsessing about they're just spiraling about something. Then the moon moves into Sagittarius and squares Mercury. That's such a be alone energy. That's like, yeah, go be alone. Go be alone. Go be alone because people are just going to fight. Don't bounce ideas over each other. Don't try to get more information. Don't try to ask what someone thinks about. So I would just leave the whole thing alone. I would just be like, I would just keep my head down and work. Wednesday, the 14th of August, we have the moon in Sag squaring Venus in Virgo. There's going to be a want or a desire, but critical eyes are necessary with Venus in Virgo. We really do have to be like on point. All right. Now, Wednesday is also when we have the Mars Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Gemini. And this is when the bombshell drops. This is when it's like it's either going to be like new information or new details about the past or like it's information that changes everything. This information changes everything that you previously thought. Also, so you have to let it change your consciousness. You cannot disregard, you can't unknow something after you know it. That's Wednesday. There's no going back. There's no going back to ignorance. That's what enlightenment is. It's when we are just like freed from the suffering of in ignorance. And when we're like illumined from within with knowledge, with awareness, with that clarity. So in some cases, this is going to be opening the cellar door, opening the closet of skeletons. For other people, it's going to be really relieving and like life affirming and all these things. So, what's interesting is that Mercury will also retrograde back into Leo after the short little stint in Mercury going right back into Leo. So, think back to around the end of July, July 24th, July 25th, somewhere around that time we're coming back to the scene of the crime, and this is where we are feeling differently, like the heart space feels differently, something has fundamentally changed. So it's almost like at the end, spoiler alert, at the end of Closer, when Jude Law is going through the I think he passes the cemetery. I don't think he goes through the cemetery, but he passes it and he sees Alice Ailes or Alice Arlyle, Alice Ayres. Maybe it's Alice Ayres, but it's the name of Natalie Portman, and he just never knew her real name the entire length of their like I don't know, like a couple year relationship. The entire time, he never knew her real name. He met her, she grabbed a name off a tombstone and just throw it out there, and he just never knew her real name the entire time. And so it's like that. It's like like a piece of information that changes everything you thought you knew. This is such a newbie screenwriting thing too. Like a noob screenwriter is going to write something and then their midpoint in the middle of the script is going to be something that changes everyone's idea from what the story was from the very beginning up into the middle, and the rest of the movie is them trying to figure it out and really figure out like the right story that they're really telling here. But we can be more original than that now, can't we? Anyway, Mercury retrograde is back into Leo, and it's very expressive. It's very heart centered. It's very heart centered. But we, like I said, there is going back to the scene of the crime. Think about July 24th, July 25th. Okay. Then the moon in Sag is going to oppose the Mars Jupiter conjunction in Gemini, and together they're going to T square Saturn retrograding in Pisces. This is very inflammatory, very, very inflammatory. Something about that information has like consequences, like it changes things. You know what I'm saying? It really changes things. Um, my approach, and I know I'm going to have to say something, even though I don't want to say anything because I have Saturn in my third house. I know I'm going to have to be like the serious karmic person. And I'm just, it's always me. I'm always if you're karma ruled, like Saturn ruled, if you're like a Capricorn or an Aquarius, sun, moon, rising, that's just who we are. That is just who we are. We're like the fucking bad guy all the fucking time. Like, just it's time to go to bed. Lights out. Sorry, kid. And I know people feel like we love it. Like we just love saying no and we love saying lights out. Time to go to bed. No more TV time. Like I know we give that vibe. I get it. But someone's got to do it. So don't be mad at us this week. That's all I'm saying. Don't be mad at Capricorns or Aquariuses or Pisces this week. That's all I'm saying. The only people that could be like wild out crazy are Tauruses. Tauruses, sun, moon, risings, you're the only ones that could be fucking insane this week and just go balls to the walls and don't fucking worry about a damn thing. You're the only ones that can do that. But everybody else, all right, so Wednesday is when the shit hits the fan. There's the secret that gets out that you didn't want anyone to know. There's the report that comes in with all of the details and the timestamps. There's the results from the doctor comes back and you fucked it all up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's something that it just comes in. Anyway, people are going to be arguing about beliefs, about right and wrong, and people are going to be arguing about things like forgiveness and ethics. It's going to even don't make the decision on Wednesday. No one's going to be making the decision on Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be like the information comes up, something comes up, the dilemma comes up, or the morality issue comes up, or the information throws everything into a pause. That's like, this is new information coming up. We have to pause and we have to consider this. We have to think about it. And the delay, it's only a few days, guys. It's not going to be a long delay at all. And it's just going to make sure that we do it right. It's just going to make sure that we do it the right way. And that's so I'm the Capricorn. I have my moon in Aquarius. And if you're a Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, sun, moon, rising, you have to be especially empowered to say what you got to say and just mic drop and then just leave it alone. When the moments come up, I'm just going to say what I got to say and I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to entangle. So we get to choose if we're going to entangle, if we're going to, you know what I'm saying? So I just say what you got to say and leave it alone. Just leave it alone. How would I put this? Because this information, people need to think about it. People are going to need to think about whatever does like come up or come to light. And what you do with this information, with this new information, seals your fate. Okay. And we're going to take it through the signs. So don't worry, I got you. What's right? Let me put it this way. Let me help you. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is how it's going to go. It's going to be you're like living your life, and then Wednesday happens, and there's this new information that comes in and changes everything. You're going to know in your gut. You're going to feel what's right and wrong in your gut. You're going to know what's best. You're going to know the right answer. But it's going to come right after the feeling of dread. So you're going to get the information. You're going to feel dread, like, oh no. And then you're going to feel it in your gut. You're going to feel it in your gut, the truth. And then you're going to just be processing that. You're you're going to need, people are going to need a time to come around, like to fully process it and accept it. And then we have our full moon and we have the Kazemi. So, but Wednesday is like when it comes in. And it's going to have like a ripple effect. Like you're just going to need to really think about it and feel feelings about it for the rest of the week and into the weekend. Thursday, August the 15th, we have the moon in Sagittarius trining over to Mercury retrograding in the sign of Leo, but squaring Neptune retrograding in Pisces. So don't argue about the past. It's over. It's done. Let it go. Leave it alone. Do not, did I say that loud? Do not argue about the past. Don't argue about the past. It's over. It's gone. We've all moved on. It's over. Don't argue. Stop arguing. Then it's okay because then the moon moves into Capricorn and saves life. It saves this whole thing. When the moon's in Sagittarius, Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday morning is when people are going to be the most like damaging with like what people are like saying and how people are arguing and the information and all the things and all the thoughts and all the like that's going to be the moment to just say what you got to say and then like walk away, give it some time to air out or like move on, because then Capricorn saves the day. Of course we do. On Thursday when the moon moves into Capricorn, and I'll tell you why, when the moon on Thursday moves into Capricorn, don't cry. That's when we're all going to have to go, okay, it's business. It's simply business, Sonny. It's not personal. It's business. This is serious. This is very serious. I hope you're taking it seriously. Actually, if you're watching this, you are taking it too seriously, and you're the most prepared. Give yourself more credit. All right, so this is serious business. Don't cry. Don't go up to any Capricorns asking for forgiveness. My God. And it's business before friendship. Business first. It's business, Sonny. It's not personal. And it's business before friendship. It has to be. And the best friendships know that. And they're not just the best friendships, but they're going to be the best business relationships too, if they also know that. Okay. And it'll make everything easier. So the Capricorn moon comes in, everyone puts on their little suits, little ties, all the little corporate little dresses, whatever. And it's strictly business. It's business. It's not personal, Sonny. Then that's also the day, interestingly enough, where Mars in Gemini makes a square to Saturn retrograding in the sign of Pisces. And so there's no talking your way out of this. There's no talking your way out of this. Don't even try. Don't even try. The people that are going to get the best out of that energy is if you don't speak up enough. So like these big, crazy energies, for people that are naturally very action oriented or extroverted, it could be too much. But for the people that are mousier and more reserved, this is just what we need to get us to be more active, to get us to take more of a stance, to get us to be more front and center. Likewise, the more like depressing aspects, if you are normally an introverted person, it's worse for you because you're going to take it too far and get super depressed and muddy and can't get out of bed and blah, blah, blah. And you get lost in your emotions and get lost in the past. Whereas if you're normally very extroverted and, loud and social, those like more depressing aspects, it's not going to do that much to you. It's just going to tone it down just enough for you to be a little bit more reflective and introspective and be a little bit more in touch with your emotions, but you're not going to be depressed like, freaking the water signs or something like that. So, so that's a little bit more how to take some of this. So Thursday, Some people that are used to talking their way out of things, or that are used to fighting with their words, or are used to being real pushy verbally, or used to being on the debate team, and used to, that's going to blow up in their faces. But for other people that normally take the back seat, this is wonderful because we're going to hear more from those people. Those people are going to be more empowered to speak up. Then also on Thursday, I have it written down on my little calendar that the sun in Leo trines Chiron in Aries. This is very healing to express your heart. It's very healing to express the truth. It's very healing for this to be someone's moment to really shine. And this would be healing where they didn't shine, where they didn't get a voice, or their voice was suppressed, or they could not express themselves, or they could not be creative, or they could not be a leader. So it's going to be very healing in that sense. I would say also healing to love and be loved. That's very, very healing. But you have to surrender to this. There's an element of surrender on Thursday. So you must surrender to the feeling, to release your idea that there's a hold on anything, and just surrender to the process. Stop forcing, or stop trying to force. Finally, on Friday, the 16th of August, is when I see us feeling better. The moon in Capricorn trines Venus in Virgo, which is very critical. Wants us to get it right the first time, wants us, all the slowdown is to make sure that we really get it right the first time. It's a big deal. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. We owe it not just to ourselves and our own hearts to get it right, but there's something about whatever's happening that we owe it to the collective. So it's not just about what we want and our heart space, but it's also, like I said, about, is this good for like the world? Is this a good decision like for humanity? You know what I'm saying? And we're all it. We're all part of humanity. If you look out the world and you're like, oh, I hate the world the way it is, it's up to you to be the change that you want to see in the world. All right. We all know how that goes. So Friday, finally feeling better. I feel like with the trine, this is beautiful. Like the moon in Capricorn, it's getting pretty full, right? So the moon in Capricorn making a trine to Venus. This is almost like, okay, we're taking this seriously. We hear it. We hear the voice. We hear that there's more information. And circumstances are helping us to get it right the first time, to make the corrections, to do whatever it is that is meeting the standard, meeting the integrity. With the sextile to Saturn, Saturn improves. Like I said, it's like you're finally feeling like, okay, this is the foothold. I have all the information. I have all of the right, correct information. And there's no shortcuts to this. Like you want to go through the past and look for consistency. You want to find the threads. What's been consistent? If someone has consistently had a problem with this, has this POS system consistently been giving you issues? Has, you know what I'm saying? Like what's been like the louder, more dominant, consistent thing? It's business, Sonny. This is not personal. You really got to look at it that way. You got to look at a business before friendship, and it's going to be clear. The numbers don't lie. Okay. Also on Friday is when Jupiter squares Saturn. This is very interesting because at first it's Mars, and it's like Mars is like elbowing ahead and like elbowing ahead to like cut the line and go and runs right into Saturn. So it's almost like, the sibling that just like rushes it, tries to like fight and gets, kicked back. And then Jupiter's like, okay, I see where they slipped up. So I'm going to do it better. So Jupiter running into Saturn, I actually like this. I feel like this is shaking hands with destiny. Amor fati. Amor fati. Stoicism. Love of fate. It means you love and accept your fate no matter what it is. And so whether that's, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Like for me, I'm gonna say the truth. I'm basically just gonna tell the truth. Say what I gotta say. And then I'm just gonna leave it up to leave it up, you know? There you go. Love of fate. Amor fati. I mean, that's what I take. Like I said, I take my own advice, and like I said, like this Jupiter Saturn, it's shaking hands. If the past few years since the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021, if you have been putting into your mental growth, your mental health, your mental strength, and your spiritual growth, your spiritual strength, your spiritual maturity, life is changing over and it's very, very beneficial for you. It's like I said, it's shaking hands. I love The Mummy Returns. It is so freaking cool. It's such a good movie. That's like such a perfect like action movie. Like there's so many good little parts. This is why like the little jokes are so important because like the story is the most important, but like the little jokes and like the comedy, it just gives so much. And you can really see Brendan Fraser being so creative. Like it's really beautiful. It gives so much space for freedom and fun and like creative self-expression. You know, entertainment industry is so Leo energy. And the way you can use it to uplift the culture, uplift the collective is the full moon in Aquarius. So you can almost look at it like that, like August the 4th, the new moon in Leo, it's like your creativity. But then the full moon in Aquarius, it has to be good for everybody. But on the way to get to making it good for everybody, there's one last adjustment. Saturday, the 17th of August, we have that moon in Capricorn making a trine to Uranus retrograding in Taurus and sextiling Neptune retrograding in Pisces. So I like this. I feel like faith in good leaders is restored because obviously we've seen such an abuse and the misuse of power like in life in society, and I feel like in our little domes in our little worlds, I feel like we may have a sense of like, oh my god, a leader doing the right thing. Oh my god, like hallelujah, halla freaking luya. Like don't we love to support leaders that do the right thing? Like wouldn't it feel so good to trust a leader to do the right thing? Like that's what you do when you're part of a community. You fit into the community and you add your power into the direction the leader is pointing all of the power of everybody. The leader of the community is making decisions for the community, for the group, for the family, for the company. And everyone sublimates their little power just a little bit, just a bitty little bit, because everyone has to move together. It's a soccer team that everyone's got to move. I love watching soccer. Like, I love watching them all move like one big organism and they're all separate and they're moving like together. That's what you want. And a good leader will know how to play to each person's strengths and knows where everyone goes and puts everybody where they belong and knows how. And but they need the trust and they need the like the dedication or the sublimation. They need every individual in the group to say, okay, this is what I have. This is what here's what we do. I can do this, I can do that. And then the leader steers the ship and uses all of the resources to advance the goal or the objective or to make an achievement and make an ambition realized. So I'm telling you guys, I'm telling everybody right now, and part of me, how I'm setting myself up for this week is this video right here, right now, telling everyone I'm not good Christian buddy Natalie. I'm a leader. I'm a businesswoman. I'm I'm a matriarch. I'm I'm okay. Like I'm a leader. Don't expect me to make little girl decisions and do things out of an immature heart or some idealistic desire of mine. No, I'm a leader. I'm going to make decisions that are going to lead us into success. It's business, Sonny. It's not personal. My dad knows that I'm the Michael Corleone of his three children. My older brother is the Sonny, and my little sister, she's the Fredo. My dad knows that I'm Michael. So, Saturday, I love it. We're feeling amazing. We're feeling like good leaders are empowered to do the right thing, to do the good thing. So you're the leader watching this, you're going to be just fine. You're more prepared than you give yourself credit for. You've been preparing for the last few years, to be honest. So as long as you've just been, and here's the thing about being a good leader is that you have to trust yourself. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself with that responsibility. There's no way anyone could, it won't last. It'll crumble. Your community will crumble. Everyone will turn on you. It's going to all fucking fall apart. Like it's just, you have to be, you have to be a good leader. You have to trust yourself though, to lead the family to, and there's dissent. Like this could be the week where maybe someone does not trust, um maybe faith is lost in the husband, the wife, the president, the manager, the owner. The, you know what I'm saying? This could be a week that that leadership or that authority could be tested, and it's just going to be a test of integrity. It's going to be a morality. It's going to be, maybe there's going to be leaders that have two different, you know, got this employee saying this thing, we got this employee saying that thing, and like, what do we do? And oh my god, and there's legal over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there could be a lot of shit storms. But anyway, Saturday, I feel like we're feeling amazing. I feel like there's a refreshing energy to Saturday with that trine to Uranus. It's like, okay, there's a new style of leadership or, you know, something like that. Then the moon moves into Aquarius, happy full moon, immediately conjoins Pluto, 0 degrees retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Shedding skin feels amazing. It's almost like you're itchy, 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 and you start picking at the skin, and then the whole thing comes off, and you're completely, you have shed, and now you're nice and like you're not itchy anymore, and it's not all crusty and disgusting, and you just feel like amazing. So again, it's humanitarian. What's best for the group? What's best for the community? It has to improve society, or it has to advance society in some way, shape, or form. So if you're a leader, it has to be good for your whoever you're leading. That's all. I am going to take this to Sunday because the Sunday is a big day. So Sunday, the 18th of August, we have, this is so funny. We have Mercury retrograde squaring Uranus again, 2 out of 3 times. So think of like the end of July. There was a little change up. There's going to be another one. This is it. Here we are in a little change up. Then we also have the Mercury retrograde Cazimi. This is when, okay, so it's like the middle of the week, like, and honestly, I'm saying like the middle of the week, it could be any day this week. Any day this week. So watch this whole, I hope you watch this whole thing at once and then like maybe day by day later. But this could pop off at any moment. Everyone has like their own little birth chart and everything. But this is when the Kazimi Sunday is when we know where we really stand. So I would expect the information to come up midweek ish, and then people and leaders, being responsible leaders, you sleep on it, you think about it, you feel it out, you search inside. The leader doesn't, okay, a good leader doesn't lead with help other than their own connection to source. Okay. There's support, like I'm supporting you, like there's like support, leader to leader support, but ultimately, it has to be that leader getting directive from like the ultimate leader, universe, God, source, Krishna, whatever you want to call it. That's like the best leader. But it should not be from a fucking book. Should not be because of some influencer on TikTok that's got a bunch of followers. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's gotta be, you have to have your inner compass that guides you. Otherwise, all that other stuff is going to fail you, and you're going to fail yourself as a leader. And it's going to be because you put your trust into the wrong stuff. That's all. So we really know where we stand with the Mercury Cazimi and the Sun. Then we also have the Moon in Aquarius trining over to the Mars Jupiter in Gemini. That's pretty weird, but I like it. Weird is German. It's a German word, and it means like to control your destiny. So go be weird. This is when the full moon in Aquarius, this is when everyone needs to just let their freak flag fly high. Fly it high. But being weird means that you're in control of your destiny. So take control of your destiny and just be weird. And it might be very progressive. It might be very unusual, but it's only unusual until everyone gets used to it. People are way more used to the idea of psychic astrology now than when I first got on. When I first got on, like in 2019, it was just like the crazy cuckoo tarot readers and then like the astrologers. And now there's like, I'm seeing just more of it. So it's like, it's only going to be weird until people come around to it and get used to it. And that's just what people need. And that's why being a good leader, you have patience for that. You don't get mad at everybody for, not getting it right away. You have to be a good leader, you have to be patient. Only when they start hurting themselves and other people do you have to just like remove them. You can't play with us. Your subconscious is fucking up your life and you cannot be trusted. So we have to handle you with gentle white little gloves and we have to put you over there until you're ready to come back or go to a different group and play. But we cannot let you we can't let you hurt people in the community. Can't allow it. So I love that it's weird. I love that it's different. But Venus in Virgo gets locked up into this T square. The Venus in Virgo opposes Saturn retrograding in Pisces, and together they both T square that Mars Jupiter in Gemini. So we set the boundary early in the week, like the 11th, 12th of August, and then life moves on. And the middle of the week happens. We get the bombshell, big news, lots of information. People are going to be thinking about it, processing it, feeling it out, maybe waiting for more information, maybe not, but feeling it out. Sunday is when we have like the come to Jesus moment. That's when we really know where we stand. And then it happens on Monday. It executes. It might even happen Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that's when the answers and the decisions and what it's going to be, and that's when it really gets finished. That's the end of the story. Okay. We started this week at the top of Act 3 and now we're done. Now we're good. And then so that's like the answer. That's it. And then the 26th, next Monday, is more like wrapping up, closing things out of that issue of this one thing. Okay. But the T square says that we're going to have to communicate very, very, very responsibly. Whatever it is, whatever the thing is, we're going to have to communicate and talk about it with a lot of maturity and responsibility and tact and respect. But we're still saying it. We're still doing it. It's still happening. So there are going to be some letdowns. Some people are going to be a little bit let down. Some people are going to be on Sundays. I feel like it has to be on both sides. So like during the week is when people are going to be mouthy and pop off and try to argue and try to defend themselves and try to go and do all the things. But by the time you get to Monday, I feel like we just have to accept whatever it is. We just have to accept the verdict. And it's not going to be anyone else's fault because Saturn's involved. So it's like we earned it over the past couple of years. We earned it. So it's not even like anyone can really argue the results of the full moon over the weekend, this upcoming weekend, Sunday the 18th, Monday the 19th, because we get what we give. And this is the result of what we have given into mental health, mental strength, mental security, like real mental maturity and what we have given into spiritual growth and spiritual evolution over the past few years. So people that have been putting into superficial relationships, South Node and Libra, that's going to fall through. People that have been putting into, I can go rattle off a whole laundry list, but we're gonna stop. We're gonna go right into how this is going to affect everyone. Um, we'll take it through the consciousness carousel. It is the zodiac. Aries, sun, moon, risings, welcome, full common. You guys have the most stress on your mental health for this. Okay, Mars and Jupiter, your mind is going a million miles a minute. Venus is being hard on you in your sixth house of health and daily work and coworkers in the office. You open the week with a Scorpio moon being really cagey in your eighth house. You could feel really intense feelings as you open the week: bitter, resentful, turned on, obsessive, hateful, in love, like all very, very extreme. And the Jupiter, Saturn, all of that stuff is mental health. It is behind the scenes. It is something that has been sabotaging you. It's been working against you. And you may get some kind of feedback. Like for you, there may be a communication, a text, an email, something someone says that disrupts you, that really makes you aware of something. And it's going to be up to you whether you want to accept it or not. I can see Aries just completely doubling down that they're not the problem, that they're not the issue, and that it's everybody else. Or the Aries is going to have some kind of breakthrough. Have some kind of breakthrough. Oopsie. To plug this in. Some kind of breakthrough for the Aries. We read the omens here on the channel. So plugging in, it's time for you to recharge your batteries. If you guys need to take some extra time off with Saturn in your 12th, definitely feel empowered to do so. Have a great week. Love you guys. Like I said in the opening, Tauruses, you are the only ones that can go ape shit. Okay, you're the only ones. Especially with Pluto in your 10th house. This is just a taste of how your reputation has to change, your legacy has to change, your marriages have to change, your being a widower has to change, being single has to change, being a business owner has to, your relationship with your parents has to change, your relationship with your spouses and your business partners has to change, like for 20 years. Okay, so it's like this is just, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like I'm telling you guys are the only ones that could be balls to the walls, but so long as it's um in integrity, you'll be fine. You guys are opening the week with a pretty cagey moon in Scorpio. It was probably a little bit more dramatic for you guys over the weekend. And as you're coming into the week, you guys are going to have to draw those lines about like who to let in, who to keep out, you know? Then, middle of the week, this could be financial news for you guys. It's either financial information. Oh my God, my spouse has racked up 25 grand in credit card debt and I didn't know about it. And now I'm roped into this. And now they've tied their rock to me. And then they're like they're a barnacle, they're a, they're a parasite, or it could, that's really paranoid. It's not going to be that crazy. But maybe it's just something, just something financial, some financial news about the financial reality of your life that you cannot ignore. Um, or it's a self-esteem issue that the self-esteem could take a hit or could be blown up, or you could feel so good about something. Maybe you sell something, or maybe you sell a product, or you're writing your book, or you know what I'm saying, like it's something, or you acquire a possession. You might just buy something very expensive. You just get all crazy about, I have to redo the living room furniture and this doesn't look right anymore. Like, I don't know. But there you go. Now the Saturn stuff for you guys, I'm just not sure that I believe that your friends have your best interest at heart. This doesn't even have to be conscious. This could be completely subconscious on their part. Um, I just kind of see a choice for you, for Tauruses personally. If it's just going to be a choice. But it really kind of comes down to like the influences that you've been letting in your life the last 3 years. Last few years, think back to the end of 2020 to the beginning of 2021. Those like influences were either going to help you become more spiritually independent, spiritually confident, mentally stronger, mentally um, broader, where you can allow more light into your brain, allow more light into your mind. Or those things are kind of just like, some quite big structures in your life could be, um, you know, rocking and rolling. So, like, I'm honestly, I see Tauruses in my personal life and in my clients' lives. It really kind of is one or the other. Like, some of you guys have people in your life that you're like, it really depends on your personal values. So if you have low standards, you're probably fine. They're probably fine, but you're not going to grow with these people. If you have higher standards, there should be tension. All of the Tauruses that are going through the biggest growth right now that I'm seeing, that are like about to cross the finish line, they are in tension with their friends, and they're exorcising um the friends that are like holding them back. It's Neptune. It's Neptune. So Tauruses have the danger of just like seeing whatever they want to see in their friends. Um, and that's just gonna be that's just gonna be the thing. That's just gonna be the thing. And it might not just be friends. It could also just be like your future, like a goal, a dream for yourself. So I would, if you're Taurus this week, it's really just setting it up this, like the beginning of the week, and just being very absolute, because you either need to just shut it off, like put up that boundary, that big hard boundary with a person or with people, and stay in the matrix. Take the freaking blue pill, or you're going to really explore that tension with your groups or your communities or with your friends or allies. If you go into that tension and really figure that out and draw the boundary, not like just like with people in the beginning of the week, but with like the morals and the integrity, then you could probably do some cool shit like in your career over the next like 2 decades. So that's a big one for you guys. But it's like money and friends do not mix, but it's values. It's values. And there's some, you just, every Taurus I've ever known has terrible timing. So, um, I feel like with the Saturn being highlighted for you, it's like maybe your friends are making you miss something, or they did 3 years ago or 2 years ago or a year and a half ago or last year, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's like I feel like timing could maybe even be weaponized against Tauruses. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop. Let's move on. Gemini, you guys are definitely probably one of the stars of the week this week, with Mars and Jupiter in your sign. So, like, the week opens, psycho little Scorpio moon in your sixth house, crunchy, hard day at the office, or, caginess from coworkers, or a grudge you're having a hard time getting over. Middle of the week, you've got something to say, you have a demand, you have a request, you have this, not the week. I know you want to go gung ho, balls to the walls. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to go over well with your dad, with your mom, with your boss, with your supervisor, with your manager, with your VIPs, with your the professional people, with your husband, with your wife. they have something there's something that you hadn't like mastered yet. You're not like they're going to tell you that you're not experienced enough or that you're not mature enough or that they're going to come back with something. And so you're just going to need to really take it. Whatever they say, that's all. I'm so sorry, Gems. Um the best thing that you can do is get rid of the grudge over the weekend coming into the week. Whatever you have a crunchy feeling about, whatever you have a grudge against, even if it's work itself, if you're like, oh, I don't like my work, whatever it happens to be, that's what it is. Wow, that was simple. Very, very, very simple. But the changeover is to get you to be good enough, is to get you to be professional, is to get you to be a good spouse, is to get you to be a better parent. So whatever the no is or the delay or whatever they're kicking back, it's you're just not there yet. You're not ready for it yet, or you're not responsible for it yet, or you've maybe mismanaged resources or assets or personnel in the past, or haven't been the best parent in the past, and that's part of what's working against you this week. That's all. Hello, Cans, my loves. I'm a Cancer rising too. I'm not looking forward to this as a Capricorn or as a Cancer rising. This week opens with the quarter moon in Scorpio in our fifth house, which for me was lovely. I got to do everything I wanted, which was have a root beer float and watch The Mummy Returns with my favorite little snackies in peace and quiet. So I had a blast. I had a grand old time. But maybe there's Cancer risings out there that are having difficulties in their love lives or having some kind of issue with their children or their sexuality, or maybe there's just dating life, maybe there's just something coming up, and you've got to decide for yourself, what am I going to allow in? Here's what's going to be easier. What's keeping you from joy? Like pure joy. Because it doesn't need to be like other people. Maybe other people have absolutely nothing to do with it. Maybe it's you thinking about other people that's interrupting your peace and your joy. So you need to do these really nice hard boundaries. I just went through my TikTok follower list, and what I do like a spiritual unfollow where I'll see them and I'll see their little I don't know if you just heard that. Whoa. Whoa. We read the omens here. That was huge. Someone's really triggered by that, whatever that was. I'm hitting on something here with the unfollowing stuff. So I'm going to continue my story, but you need to know that that's been underlined by the universe for you guys. So when I did my unfollow spree on TikTok, I look at their little pictures, their little profile pictures, and you feel something. Listen to your body. The body is like the device. The body is the avatar. So does your body does your heart drop when you see their profile picture? Do you get nervous? Do you have butterflies? Do you have a sense of dread? Do you just feel like shit? Do you feel bored? Do you feel nothing at all? Like, what do you feel? And that's how I do it. And if I don't get a good feeling, guys, literally, this Mercury retrograde, I am thinking only in Mary Magdalene quotes or my one comeback for everything. Suck my dick. Like, that's all I can think about is Mary Magdalene and my one comeback for everything. That's like my new favorite phrase. So, I'm not saying it out loud. I'm not posting it. I'm not commenting it. No, I've never told anyone that, but I'm thinking it. I'm thinking it. So, um, that's my Mercury retrograde, like editing. So, but here's what I'm not so thrilled about for us is that middle of the week, Mars, Jupiter is in our 12th house of secrets, sorrow, self undoing, hotels and ashrams, meditation centers, and what we've been working on behind the scenes. So, this is like someone's going to try and attack us from behind the scenes, a secret enemy. Pew, pew, pew. Or we are going to have to say something. We're going to have to reveal something. We're going to have to. I feel like this is Cancer risings having secret information that we have to deliver that, like, I don't want to get involved. Like, I don't want in any part of any conflict, but I feel like, there's something like we have to, it's almost like we have to say something, or we have to confront, let me put it this way, we have to confront an issue, a subconscious issue. This is something that was undermining our success in the past, maybe when we didn't speak up before, or it's a self sabotaging behavior, a self sabotaging like a way of thinking, but it's something that is coming up that we have a higher responsibility to Saturn and Pisces in our ninth house. That's either to a physical person, like a foreigner, like we're relocating and traveling, or there's a person that we're working for and they're a foreigner. Maybe it is a guru, mentor, guide, teacher that we've got to say something to, express something to, or um, just integrity itself, morality, ethics, integrity that we've got to. And because the Virgo is our third house of speaking and communication, so it could be something that comes in from somebody else that really expands us behind the scenes, subconsciously, and it could be a little bit of both, but that's going to be, we're going to be speaking on it, adding to the conversation, speaking our piece, revealing something, or someone's going to, or someone's going to try and attack us from behind the scenes, or it could even be protectors. But this is like spiritual warriors. Like, this is not like, because Mars is there, this would not be just Jupiter. If it's just Jupiter, it's definitely guardian angel type energy, like behind the scenes. But because Jupiter's there, it's like maybe there's some kind of spiritual warfare that's happening, or psychic warfare that's happening. It's not going to be for everybody. Um, or like kind of protecting things. Like maybe we're doing something to protect somebody else behind the scenes in action or spiritually or whatever. But either way, we're going to be sitting with it for the rest of the weekend. And then we come into next week and we'll talk about it then. But this should be clearer for Cancer, Sun, Moon, risings. If something upsets you, you'll know that you shouldn't be upset by it because it's not like an integrity. Or if something is making you like really happy, or if whatever is coming up, it will really, more than everybody else, run through the integrity, run through the honesty and the forthrightness and the higher responsibility to morals and ethics, and like what you truly believe. Like for Cancer risings, this is going to be the biggest test of faith. Like you're going to have to walk with that kind of like material blindness and just see with your spirit eyes, and just see and speak with that. I hope I make some kind of sense. All right, there we go. Okay, Leo, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, Common. This is when the friends and money thing that you've had going on blows up. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You borrowed money, you loaned money, you have been jealous of your friends, they've been jealous of you. There's been back and forth. There's something, there's been something there, maybe for the past couple of years, maybe just in the last little while. But this is when it comes to a head, and there's like this big changeover that's trying to happen. And you guys are the ones that you're just really not getting away with any shenanigans when it comes to lending, borrowing, saving, investing, sexuality, with what you give and share with other people, with Saturn in the eighth. So for you guys, it's going to be something on social media, something in your community in the middle of the week, something, maybe you're reaching out, or maybe they're reaching, something's like happening, or maybe you're publishing something, or maybe they're, something, you're gung ho about it, but it just has to, I would say that for you, the challenge would be getting over something personal so that you can be fully present in your community. There's something bigger that you've got to kind of resolve or take care of in yourself. Then you can go balls to the walls with your friends, or with making a dream come true. But it's like, are you going to pay down the debt first? Are you going to learn the lesson first? Are you going to, what I'm saying? And so that's what's going to be weird for you this week, where they're going to say no. You're not going to get the loan. You're not going to get the mortgage. You're not going to get the help, the financial help from your friends. You're not going to, there might be something you really cannot count on, or you may even be the one to pull something back and say, I'm not giving you shit. I'm not giving you a fucking thing. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be the one that's like, shit the, you know, this could actually be kind of nice if you've been really putting into like the mental health, spiritual health. It could be great for your relationships, not just like it depends because if you do like a client-based business, this could even be good like where you it's good for like you're getting more clients or it's good for your clients or it's good for your um audience, like if you have audience and you have people that you want to be audience and stuff like that. So that's going to be really what you serve like the next 20 years anyway. So it really isn't about you guys anymore. It's going to be more about um your partner, your client, your business partner, your spouse, it really is going to be about them. So you really should take make it hard now, use up all the Saturn, because if you let the wrong people in now, you're going to be fucked for 20 years. Like if you don't use this 3-year period, like I think it's like, yeah, 2023 to 2025, like that's why it's hard. That's why I had a Leo ask me for money this year and I was like, no. And so it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's harder, but if you can not feel so like entitled to stuff and take care of yourself more and not need other people and not like have these kind of grandiose expectations, this is going to go so much better for you. Because like I said, if you don't, if this gets really, if this stays messy, Saturn's not going to help you after 2025, and it could be very messy for 20 years and just being really entangled, really really messy with your really messy relationships where you're just fighting constantly, constant power struggles, and you think you're winning. What this is like the quote, you can only sleep your way to the middle. You're only ever going to sleep your way to middle management. This is like that. Like I can see like low vibe Leos just like thinking they're too good for something, or being having too much of an entitlement. And at the same time, you can still think that way and still have low self-esteem. You can have both of those consciousnesses where you feel like you're not good enough for this, but then you act like you're too good for that. And that's cognitive dissonance, where you don't see how you think that you don't think you're good enough for anything, but that is your ego. You have a martyrdom, messianic ego that is like, oh, I'm hurting myself for you. Oh, I'm overworking myself for you. Oh, I'm doing all this for you. And no one asked you to do that. And still having a script in your head that you suck or that you're not good enough. But then you're not being humble with certain people or in certain situations. Are you shouting? If you're watching if you're cross watching, if your Leo is shouty, they're not happy. They're not a happy Leo. Good Leos, good place Leos are just wanting to make everyone smile. They're literally like the happiest people. If you dare frown at a Leo's party, they're going to come up to you and they're going to like grab you by the arm and they're going to force you to have fun. Okay? They're going to force you to do it. They're going to force you to be happy. So that's either that's what you want to look at in yourself. So fix something in yourself, and then you'll be able to be okay and go balls to the walls in your communities. Hello, my lovely Virgos, Sun, Moon, Risings. Welcome for comment to your week ahead. You guys, I'm just going to tell you the end at the beginning. The week ends on Monday the 19th with the full moon in Aquarius. For you is a sense of relief. A weight is lifted. That's where I'm starting with you. So now you don't have to stress about everything else I'm going to say. Okay. So the week opens on the 12th with the quarter moon in Scorpio in your third house of the mind and in the intellect. There's something kind of crunchy that is already on your mind. You're already edgy, and you should be. You should be. there is a boundary that you've got to have. And maybe it's in your neighborhood. Maybe it's with people you see every day. Maybe it's with your siblings. Maybe it's with your second cousins. Um, it doesn't have to be, though. This could be contract. This could be a negotiation. This could be a communication that you get in, a communication you send out. But really, what it's about is you drawing up the boundaries mentally. And for you, Virgos, it should be your own mind, it should be your own thoughts, it should be your own communications of what you allow to impact you and what you have the boundary with and you don't allow to impact you. So this could be are you going to let your dad's criticism, affect you? Are you going to let it like really penetrate? Are you really going to let yourself like feel it? No, have a boundary with that. You don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or like um a mental boundary of how you talk to yourself, your own self-talk, being confident in your own mind, talking to yourself kindly, giving yourself validation. Where did I write this down? I found this. It's some people need to see other people validate you first before they truly realize they've been watching you validate yourself the entire time. Like my social media, for instance, everything I post, it would be exactly the same if I had just my mom watching and liking all my videos, or if I had millions of people and followers. I comment on my own videos because that's not I'm you know what I'm saying? Like I pulse my vibration and that's it. I just take care of that. I just make sure that my vibration is pure. And if it's like a little fire, 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 firefly fire. If it's like a little firefly light and it brings someone that wants to learn telekinesis, and great, but if not, it's fine too. You know what I'm saying? So for you, take that approach. Take that approach where I said what I said. Like you might be the one to communicate something. Like you want to be like, I said what I said. If you don't like it, oh well. It's your problem. It's your problem, not mine. You want to have a great mental boundary about what you allow to affect you mentally and what you're not gonna, well, you don't know what you're talking about, you know? You even more so business. You okay. So Wednesday, middle of the week ish, is when you have Mars, Jupiter in your 10th house. So you guys are highlighted as parents, as leaders, as business owners, as professional people, the professional, like the person, the guy, the girl. And it's new information coming in for you about your trajectory, about work, about a project, about personnel, about people, about business partners. And it's going to be a little bit of a downer. Something is going to come in. So for you, it's like you're pushing for the professional achievements. And listen, you guys are still with Venus in your sign. Don't worry, you guys are still the darlings of the zodiac for the rest of the month. The rest of the month, you can almost do no wrong. Almost. So you guys are still going to be the darlings of the zodiac, and that's going to help you. But it's like you're trying to push for the career. But Saturn in your seventh house, like I said, from 2023 until 2025, is making your relationships tested. They're very testing. Your relationships are just going to feel more work, hard work, whether you're married or single, whether you're in business or now, your clients, like whatever it happens to be. So for you, the middle of the week, it's like there's communication, there's information that comes in, and you really, really need to listen to the partner. You really need to listen to that other person because the other person has, like, how would I put this? It's like with Saturn and Pisces, it's the other person. It's almost like you have to take into consideration what your spouse thinks and feels about your career. Maybe you have to move the family or something. Or your parent. You have to listen to what your parent is really. Maybe they watch your kids and you're trying to do something and it affects their life and you have to really hear them out. Or you know what I'm saying, or the business partner, you might have a collaborator where you're like, okay, here we go, but the collaborator has something to tell you that is new information to you, and you really are going to be very seriously thinking about it, really considering what they're saying and what they're telling you, because I do see that you do feel kind of responsible. You feel, oh, I should have done this differently. I should have done this better. I should have done, you know what I'm saying? So you are going to feel like you're looking at yourself as a parent, as a leader, as a business owner, as leader of a project, of something, leader of a family, leader of a group, whatever happens to be. And you are going to feel that responsibility, that leaderly responsibility. And like I said, you guys are probably way more prepared than you're giving yourself credit for, because the people that need the preparation are the ones that don't give a fuck. I'm just saying, like, they don't care. They're not watching astrology videos. They're not trying to like figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're even here, you already got it. You're going to be okay. I bless you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be okay. And so all you have to do is just listen to what they're saying, and you really just want to feel your way forward more, even more, because okay, so that's like, you think you're going to go forward, something happens in the middle of the week to the end of the week where you've got to you have to, I don't want to say adhere to the partner, but you really have to take them seriously. You've that maybe that's your clients. Maybe it's a client-based business that your client, maybe this is like someone reviews your product or makes a video about a product of yours and it breaks. And they're reviewing it and they're like, you know what? I love this product, but like the gasket, it's the gasket's made of like the cheapest rubber I've ever felt in my life, and I only got like 2 uses out of it. And you're like, ooh, you know, then you're like, fuck, man, I thought, damn, the guy that sold me those gaskets, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, that's it. So whether it's your audience, your client, your business partner, your spouse, your best friend, like someone's teaching you something really big, really, really big. And all you have to do is listen. All you have to do is pause. So for you, Virgos, it really behooves you to pause on the career stuff this week. More information is going to come to light in the middle of the week. So here's what I'll say: push forward. It's going to happen naturally. Just continue on naturally. Go as you're guided, because things are going to move forward for you guys. You should be excited. Like, you guys, I'm telling you, are the darlings of the zodiac, and you have so much to look forward to, especially September through November. Virgos are going to be on fire. Okay, this is, I'm telling you, the top of the third act. You're almost done with this little drama before you can get to like the good drama. And so this is it. This is the week. This is the week in the past 3 years of all of your mental health work, all of your work as a parent, as a professional, as a leader. All these things. It's all like crescendoing into this week for you guys. And like I said in my overview, my mom's a Virgo. She did all the work already. There's nothing for her to do. We have the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did it. We made it, you know? So it's like so I feel like on one hand, Virgos, what happened in July? Let's start there. Because like I said about July, like, we are who we are with all of this momentum. And this is more of like the fallout. So everybody kind of is who they are at this time. And everyone's going to be like, this is where everyone gets like, where we all take our place on stage. This is the last switch up behind the curtain of where, oh my God, this person needs to be over here. And this person, oh my God, they should be off. And that, before the curtains open next week. And then we really see where everybody kind of like really belongs. So for you, this is like a relationship adjustment. Maybe it's a professional relationship adjustment. But you're going to be thinking of like whatever the thing is that comes up, you're going to, when Mercury goes retrograde back into your 12th house, that's going to be on Wednesday. You're going to be critical. Don't be so hard on yourself this week, Virgo. You are going to be critical of yourself this week. And you're going to be going and like, oh, I wish I had this conversation sooner, or I wish this, blah, 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 blah. Don't be so hard on yourself. Because you are going to be searching your soul a little bit. You're going to be searching your heart. You're going to be searching your soul. And all you have to do is listen to that beginning of the week. You should have just pledged your allegiance to integrity, integrity in the relationships, and being really honest with yourself and being really honest about where there's integrity and what you're trying to make work because of a hope. But let's like a fruitless hope. It's Neptune in your seventh. So some Virgos, it's like a disillusioning. Rose colored glasses come off. What's really there? And it's been there for 3 years. What's been consistent? What behaviors have been consistent? What have the people been showing you? How have they been changing? How have you been growing? How have you been changing? How have you been evolving? From 2020 until 2024, both my parents are Virgos. If you're a Virgo and you're a parent, there is no way that this has nothing to do with your children. Like it just is. So it's like your children of the body, like your physical children, but also your children of the mind, your creative children, for those of you that are creative. And so this is a blooming for you guys where the true blues, this is like if you have 3 kids and you have one that's Sunny and one that's Michael and one that's fucking Fredo. You got to be honest with yourself about which kid is who. My dad knows I'm fucking Michael Corleone. He knows that. My dad knows that I'm Michael. I fucking told him. He's like, I have my dad. I know it doesn't look like I have my dad's back, but I totally have my dad's back. I'm a daddy's girl. Love my father. They're all, this is the thing. Like growing up, saw my dad on weekends with my half sister, half sibling. My dad's a Virgo, I'm a Capricorn. And on the weekends, we would have so much fun. Like, honestly, we'd go fish. He'd take me fishing. We'd go on bike rides. We'd go to the beach. He'd always pack all like a cooler of like healthy snacks. We'd watch movies and TV shows and talk about it. We'd make dinner, not spending a dime. We had so much fun, never spent any money. But he married this woman and she's an Aries, and my younger half sibling, she's a Gemini. That's all they wanted to do. So like every weekend they just want to go to the mall. They want to go to the mall and spend money. That was their idea of, and that's a love language, like spending money and gifts. Like that's legitimately some people's is love language. But um I don't want any part of like fighting about my dad's inheritance or my dowry or anything like that. So I'm very like I said, I'm very confident and looking forward to when he's free of his body and those people around him. And like, I have full, complete faith that where my mother and I made it, that my love for my father is protected. And so I don't have any fear for him or anyone out here, because I know, like I astral project, like I've practiced death. Okay. So I'm a spiritual person. I'm a spiritual leader. I teach people how to remote view and how to astral project. So there's no part of me that has any shred of doubt in my mind. Um, so I don't know if I can give any of that to you, but if there are any hard moments in like relationships, it's never over. You know, you could be gone, but not far. You know, so for Virgos, this is going to be like this is going to be a little bit difficult. Not difficult, but it's going to be, you will be searching your soul, that's all. And really searching what you believe. What do you really believe? All you need to do is circle back to the truth because the truth has been there for 3 years. It's really, honestly, there's information that comes up that helps you accept it. And then you'll be accepting it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have a come to Jesus moment with the Kazemi in your 12th house. You may actually have a psychic experience. You may start seeing dead people or talking to dead people or have a dream or something, unless you there maybe you work behind the scenes, maybe there's something that happens with work or something is happening, like I said, but behind the scenes, but you know where you stand, like with your faith, with your belief, with your spirituality, and it empowers you, Virgos, to walk into your full moon Monday morning and a weight is lifted. There's something about your daily life that has just been weighty, and it you're done. You're done with like carrying some heavy burden, or you're done toiling. You don't have to work so hard. These last couple weeks of August for Virgos, you don't have to work so hard. Like this is it. Like you don't have there's no you're leaving the office, you're moving offices, you're getting a different some staff changes are happening where I don't know, something's happening, or maybe you're staffing people, maybe you're hiring staff and you don't have to work so hard and you're delegating, or you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to worry about it. And it just has to be good for the people. It just has to be, maybe you're making decisions as a leader or as a parent that is changing the office for everybody. And it's going to be up to you to make that decision, and you do it Monday, maybe Monday the latest, but it's going to be a humanitarian office. It's going to be altruistic working. You know, this is like that diversity stuff, or that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you are going to be trusted with the power and authority, and you do it. I think I mean, I'm very hopeful and idealistic, but like, you do it, you make a safe space for everybody. And that's going to make you feel amazing. It's going to make you feel amazing. So, love you, Virgos. Take very good care. Have a great week. Hey, Libras, BFFs. Okay. Welcome to your week. You guys, you open the week with the Scorpio moon, quarter moon in your second house. That's financial, a financial reality you'd rather not look at, but you got to deal with, or it's a value judgment that you don't want to look at, but you've got to deal with. You've got the South node in your sign. It's hard. It's hard to let pieces of yourself go, because some of these pieces may have gotten you through some really difficult times, and you may feel so grateful to those pieces of you that got you through those hard times, but maybe they can't exist if you're going to enter a reward cycle. Maybe you were in a survival mode, survival cycle, and you had to be like that, but that can't be in a reward cycle and be kumbaya, you know. So this whole, you're almost done with it with the eclipses in your sign, but like, ugh, it's gonna be, you have to get used to that concept. That's all. So the week opens a little crunchy. You want to draw up the financial boundaries of what's in your budget, what's out of your budget. I don't know if you've been seeing it on TikTok, but like, keeping up with the Bezoses is just fucking disgusting. Don't try to keep up with whatever. Don't. It's gross. And no one likes it. Like, it's not even attractive. Like, no one even, I don't know, like the billionaire thing, it's like, unless they were turning into Batman, but they're not. All these, that was one thing. I was like, all these billionaires and no one's Batman. Like, what the fuck? So it's like no one even likes that anymore. It's like gross, you know? So hopefully, I don't know if that helps, but like maybe that helps someone just like let go of like, guys, I'm paring down my wardrobe. Like, I'm changing my aesthetic just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, just a very little bit, for my next era of pyrokinesis demonstrations on my TikTok. And so I'm like curating it and I'm going through my wardrobe, and I have so much to donate, but I realized that I go through like 3 to 4 outfit changes every day. I have my sleep clothes that I sleep in. Then I wake up and I change into my fitness and stretching outfit for like fitness. And then I change into my daily uniform. And then when I'm done doing my day, then I change into my lounging, relaxing clothes. And then before bed, I'll switch into sleeping clothes. And so that's kind of a lot. That sounds like a lot, you know? So I'm going through my wardrobe and I'm paring down. I want fabrics that can withstand multiple washes, like a lot of washing, wrinkle resistant, where you can crumple it up and it doesn't wrinkle. Fabrics that, like the good synthetics or the organic, flexible materials, things that are very like durable, wrinkle resistant, can withstand a lot of washing. I love some things to be super tight fit, love that cinched waist. Sometimes I just want to wear a biblical robe. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but really, honestly, like this doesn't mean I'm going out and buying a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm curating my wardrobe as it exists now. I may add a couple of pieces, but like it's really more like minimalist and more like, who am I? What am I about? How am I going to be representing myself? How do I want people who have maybe never seen pyrokinesis, never seen telekinesis, not real telekinesis, and they're seeing me for the first time doing this? What is the image? What's the impression that I want to leave them with? Because like Morpheus says in the Matrix, I never free a mind past a certain age. It's dangerous. So it's like I feel a very strong sense of responsibility with this stuff. So you, same thing with your values and what you spend your money on. This is very much for Libras, like vote with your dollar. What do you would you when you buy something, you support how it's made, how it's manufactured, how it's advertised. And so you really want to just put your money where your mouth is. That's where you want to start the week. Then in the middle of the week, there's going to be, you want to travel, you want to take a course, you want to be with a foreigner, you want to be with someone that is broadening your mind. Maybe you want to be with someone that's like teacherly or guidey, or this could be litigious, a little bit more mundane. Maybe there's like a legal thing that you're trying to do, or some happening like that. But it's gonna there's gonna be some like information that comes up, litigious. Maybe this is bureaucratic, or this is very much like you go to the fucking airport and they kick you back because your passport's out of expired. No, you're not going to be able to talk your way out of it. They're going to kick your ass back and go get your shit together. Very, very, that's a great example for this because it's your ninth house and then Saturn's in your sixth house. So for Libras, you really do have a little bit more work to do. It's just going to feel like grunt work from 2023 to 2025 with Saturn in your sixth house. And you might be sort of disillusioned. You might be sort of trying to fool yourself about it if you're thinking that you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like if like it just or it might be confusing that you don't know what to do, or you maybe spin your wheels, or you're putting your energy in the wrong things, or you're scattering your energies, or like, you know what I'm saying? So it could be kind of like use the Saturn thing to help narrow down like where you really need to put in the work. You want to be so big and like this, like maybe you want to travel, but you gotta put your head down and work. You gotta make more money first. You know what I'm saying? So then the week you're going to, so whatever comes through it, something, the world could actually be showing you something that's just not what you thought. You expected something and you're getting something totally else, totally different. And you're going to be kind of adjusting, processing the rest of the week. Then something might be like hanging in the balance. That's why I'm saying like people are going to be processing and thinking, and then we know where we really stand like Sunday, Monday next week. You'll know where you stand with your maybe friends, groups, associations, your online communities, social media, if that has anything to do with it. For you guys, it might be where your older siblings or where you stand with a dream of yours, a goal of yours, or something that you're trying to do. And full moon in Aquarius. Oh shit. It's going to be really educational. So for some of you that have children, this is children of the body, children of the flesh, children of the mind, of the heart, creativity, your sexuality, your inner child. You really do want to do the inner child healing. I take all of my own advice. I got little Natalie 2021 and I've had her in my custody ever since. And it is an ongoing relationship. And that is how you heal your subconscious mind, through the universal communication of feeling. And we're using this visualization of I've talked about it so much. Go through all my videos. Um, but do it. You can't just watch the video, you have to actually do it. That's gonna feel the best for you, because trying to get like validation from someone you're dating or through your children, it's not gonna, that ain't gonna cut it. It's just not. It's just not. So for you guys, at Venus, Saturn on that axis, this is a kind of a crisis of like faith and belief for you guys. So you more than anyone want to really surrender. Like everything's saying that. The whole astrology is saying Libra surrender. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Take good care and do something. I would say get some ice cream, put it in the fridge. Like honestly, if you do the root beer float, go get Haagen-Dazs vanilla ice cream and A&W root beer and just keep it in your fridge. It it's happiness. It is. It just makes me happy. So I think it's just like just like that fifth house full moon is a fullness with your children or with your pets and animals or with you being so happy. Like maybe you're going to be super happy about something. Maybe something is way better than you thought it was going to be. Like let's just try. But it's going to be a buildup of the past 3 years. Have you been learning about life in the world? Have you been integrating, or have you been really resisting it? Have you been really like, this could even be like if you have kids, you just maybe like the mom sees the girl growing into a woman and she resents it and she's all triggered because of her mom issues and sexuality issues, and now she hates her daughter because she's like, ew, you took all the best out of me, the best years of my life, and my body changed, and like, and she's having like the Libra mom's having like an issue, like having a real freak mommy dearest moment about it. It could be a moment like that full moon in your fifth house, but it can also be something really wonderful for your creative projects. It could also, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but you'll be the judge because you'll be the one who will know if you've been really growing, if you've been really growing the last 3 years, or if you've really been resisting it. Okay. Love you guys. Scorpios are really ready to change life, trying to get that money, trying to really do it. But coming up against some stuff. So week opens with your energy at the forefront of everyone's consciousness. Everyone's going to be feeling like a little Scorpio a little bit on Monday. Um, so it's a quarter moon in your sign, a waxing gaining in like quarter moon. Very, very beautiful. I love this for you guys. It means that all you have to do is like put your consciousness into your best attributes, like your favorite things about this is your strengths. This is where you shine. So you just feel like very, very empowered, Scorpio, to put up those boundaries. Like, how good does that feel, right? I'm telling you, I was happy as a clam this weekend. I did everything I wanted to do. Happy as a clam. So, you guys really, there might be some crunchy feelings in yourself, but you be honest with yourself about them. That's all. I feel like this is why I love you guys so much, is that I feel like Scorpios and Capricorns both have a very rich inner life. Like we have real relationships with ourselves in a way that no one else has. So that's what you want to lean into on Monday is that like relationship with yourself. We all know when we're doing bad. We all know when we're thinking bad thoughts and feeling bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever comes up for you on Monday or even over the weekend, you know what to do. You journal, you ride your bike, you go for a walk, you think about it, you stew about it, you watch a movie about it, you sit with it, you whatever you do, like you do your thing and really like process it and put those boundaries up in yourself. So you have to make these promises with yourself about what you're going to let in your life and what you're going to keep out of your life. That's that's isn't doesn't it feel good to be like that? Doesn't it feel good to naturally be that way? Don't you feel like you just walk around naturally with that sense of power? The power to like literally give life to this relationship and be part of it, and literally the power to take life away from this relationship and pull all of your energy back. Scorpios will pull back to reassert power. So sometimes you guys do it manipulatively, but at other times you do it honestly. So think about that. Think about that. Just meditate on it in the beginning of the week. Middle of the week, your Mars, Jupiter's in Gemini in your eighth house. You really want to go and merge with this other person. You want to have sex. You want their money. You want to have access to their credit. You want to go get the loan from the bank. You want to go and maybe even if this is more like psychic, maybe you're super into it. Maybe you're like, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna go balls the walls. I'm gonna astral project. I'm gonna do that. Going all into it. And I feel like you even do. I feel like Scorpios really are up for like big life changes too. And so the only thing is that midweek it's gonna get checked by that Saturn in the fifth house. This is almost like you either have a child, like you have a child, or you're pregnant, or your partner's pregnant, or your small business is failing, or your small business isn't making you happy anymore, or your small business is just really hard. It's sucking the joy out of your life and it's not fun anymore, or it's just hard and just hard work. And so I'm going to say that if it's a child or if it's someone you're dating or if it's your small business, if it's a pet, you got to listen to that feedback. You want to listen to the feedback and then just ask yourself if you're in integrity with it. Are you managing this situation with integrity? And have you been managing yourself with integrity the last 3 years? Like what's that been like? You know? And if you've been processing hard feelings, if you've been changing your life from the inside out, you're going to be fine. You're going to be sober, and you're going to put business before friendship, and you're going to be able to like really clearly see the right thing to do, also with the same clarity that you see how you really feel and what you really want. See, I feel like I can talk so great with you guys, you and Caps. See, so we'll know you're going to be right here with me. You're going to know how you feel. You're going to know what you want. You're going to know what you hope for. You're also going to know the reality of the situation. You're also going to know what to expect realistically. Numbers don't lie. So you're not going to, even though you've got that Neptune in the fifth, that could be like disillusioning you about love and romance and dating and make you super deceptive too. I don't really think you're going to try to get away with any shenanigans. If anything, maybe it just hopefully just made you a little bit of a hopeless romantic or just romantic, very, very romantic. But Saturn is going to be bringing in real contenders for your heart. It's if this can be where you take your small business that's like a pain in the ass and fucking hard work and you don't even like it anymore and it's all struggling and you're like, what the fuck? This can be when you do merge with somebody else, you do partner and collaborate, and they could help you make it to share the load. They could really help alleviate and either make the work less shitty because you're shoveling shit together, or um you take the feedback, and it's like you give that, you give it what it needs, and you're able to change over this life and change over this business, change over this relationship with your child, with your inner child, with your lovers, or how you approach dating, how you approach sexuality, and you're able to change it over into a way that's so much better for you, way better for you. But whatever comes up like midweek could kind of disturb you. I'm not gonna lie. This shit could fuck you up a little bit with the eighth house. Like that, I feel like that's almost even something you don't want to know. Where you're like, maybe you should keep that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You might feel like something might just bother you or freak you out a little bit, or rub you the wrong way, or like it could just not resonate. Maybe it's like true love and it does not resonate, or maybe it's not true love and it doesn't resonate, and you're like, I cannot force this anymore. But it's going to be hard because you want something, like it. So there's a little bit, and then so that then there's something that comes up, the morality issue, or something really coming up middle of the week. You're going to be feeling through it, thinking about it the rest of the week. And then Sunday, Monday, that's when you know where you stand. That's when your parent knows where they stand, or your spouse, or maybe it's about marriage. Maybe it's about merging with a business partner. Maybe it's about, something up top professionally. And that's kind of like your full moon. Like, so it's going to be a full moon in your fourth house of like the home and the family, home and hearth and kith and kin. But it's you, it's emotional. It's very, very emotional. And I see kind of like Scorpios changing, not like their allegiances, but maybe rethinking their friends, groups, associations, social media posting. And because maybe you want to change something about your professional trajectory or your image or your reputation, but you're going to be needing to get through some baggage, some baggage or some eighth housey sort of a thing. Like I said, I feel like this might just be information that's like TMI or something, like, or something that spooks you, or something that's maybe unsettling. Like maybe it makes you feel kind of insecure. Maybe you don't feel like shiny, or the business doesn't feel shiny, or like, like something like that. But that's not the point. You're not supposed to feel shiny for these 3 years that Saturn's in your fifth. You're supposed to feel beautiful because of your creative and spiritual integrity. So it's not really about feeling shiny. Is the reputation. Shiny is your career, Scorpio. Shiny is the facade, is the face. But the actual thing, the actual product, the actual output, the actual doing the thing is not shiny itself. So make that distinction. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe, so there's like that superficial, that's like the promotion, that's like the shingle or the logo, how people are saying that's all the Leo 10th house, but that's not the work you're doing. That's not what you're creating. That's not the small business itself. The small business itself has to be Saturn and Pisces. And so that's what you may need some help with, or needs to kind of elevate to the next level. But you got to go through the eighth house corridor of fucking scary mirrors and shit. That really applies having Gemini there. I don't like it. All right, let's move on. All right, I love you guys. I think you got it. I think we did it. I think we got it. Okay. Hello, my lovely Saggies, Sun, Moon, Risings. Welcome, willkommen. Okay, the week opens with the quarter moon in Scorpio in your 12th house of secrets, sorrows, self undoing, self sabotage, everything going on behind the scenes where cognitive dissonance breaks and happens and things. So for you guys, the weekend could have been very crunchy, and it depends on your relationship with your own subconscious. You either know exactly what's bothering you and why, Or you could have just been irritable and irritated and not understand why you've been irritable and irritated. So you either know exactly what it is or you're just feeling like everything upsets you. Okay. So you need to draw the boundaries with, how do I put this? With self honesty. If if you can be self honest in the beginning of the week, and you can use that weekend, look over the weekend, what, if something was bothering you, if there were crunchy feelings, if you can be honest with yourself about it, you'll be okay the rest of the week. But if there's any part of you, and I mean any 1% of your subconscious mind that's not on board with self honesty, is going to blow the fuck up this entire week. Let me explain. So there's your quarter moon, there's a challenge, there's a crisis in action, and you guys, there's a challenge, there's a crisis in action, and you guys are going to have to make that decision of, I'm either going to be self-honest or I'm not going to be self-honest. And it really does determine everything else, because in the middle of the week, you have the Mars Jupiter in your 7th house of partnerships. This is any one-to-one relationship. This is you and your clients, you and your partners, you and your spouse, you and your best friend. And you want to go so gung-ho. You're so ready to enter partnership. You're so ready to do something with your partner. You're so ready to collaborate. You're so ready to meet people. You're so ready to um, meet with your clients and help them. And you're really ready to do that. However, in the middle of the week, like that Tuesday, Wednesday, they're telling you something that you don't want to hear. They're telling you something. They're bringing new information to you. It's a client that has a special request. It's a parent with some criticism. It's professional feedback about your performance. Whatever it happens to be, it hits you in the jugular. It hits you where it hurts. It smacks down into Saturn in Pisces in the 4th house. And it's challenging how real you've kept it with yourself emotionally. Because if you've been taking care of yourself emotionally, then you will not have been any kind of this is like hurt people, healed people, heal people. It's like that. So if you've been hurting, you have probably hurt people consciously or unconsciously, whatever. And if you've been healing through all of this, healing family wounds in particular, ancestral wounds, early childhood wounds, then this is more healing. And this is more of like where you, for Sagittarius, you're either healing this week or you are feeling like you're under attack. I honestly, for Sagittarius, I kind of don't see it any other way. Saggies are going to be either feeling like the world is out to get them and that other people are attacking them and they're totally innocent, like the cognitive dissonance. Or this week, Saggies are going to get that feedback from, I don't know, your audience or your spouse or your business partner or your client or whatever. They're going to take that and they're going to heal. They're going to heal it. And honestly, this is a culmination of like 3 years in the making. So I'm saying heal it, but that's only going to work if you've already been healing it. I hope that makes some kind of sense. Okay. So partner has something to say. The partner, the other side is bringing you something, and it unsettles you emotionally, like it disrupts your emotional peace. Maybe even it's a family member, maybe it's even like a partner has an issue with a family member, or the partner has an issue with the professional person, or the professional person has it could even be like people oriented, or it's just some like feedback from the clients, or something like that. And it's a challenge to your emotional confidence. It is a challenge to your emotional maturity. So if you have been putting in a lot of effort into growth in that mental maturity, mental strength, emotional maturity, emotional strength, then you will recognize this and you will be able to slow down and serve this relationship and adhere to what it needs to continue in a healthy way or to resolve and like get closure. You know what I'm saying? So this could be kind of like this could be a very, very big week for Sagittariuses where there's like a culmination or there's a closure happening. Like it's something of what the other person is doing, though. It's something that someone else is doing or saying. And so you're not, you respond if you choose to respond, Sagittarius. You don't be aggressive. Like, don't, that's like the last thing you want to do is get into any fights or be aggressive with, because you could get into horrible fights and it could um, damage your reputation. So you want to be very, very careful. On Wednesday is also when Mercury goes back into Leo. So you're going to have to go back to something you believed or thought about, like the end of July. This is like you may return to an ideology to make it better, or you may return to work on your value system or your ethics, or maybe even take up some, learning thing all over again, or maybe you're traveling to a place you visited before but you're going to be you're going to be rethinking like a belief about something. Like, I thought it was like this, but I was totally wrong. It's actually like that. But you didn't know that because they didn't tell you before now. And now that you're getting that like feedback from your partner, your spouse, your business partner, the client, the audience, whoever happens to be, now that you have that part of like the story, now it's making you look at your values differently. Now it's making you, and that's good. Like, you need to self question because of that. I don't know how that's going to go for you. Like that first quarter moon in your 12th house in the beginning of the week, that's going to be like, it just depends on how self honest you're going to be with yourself. And like, make that decision to be very self honest in the beginning of the week. And it's going to help you when you go back and rethink everything later in the week, which is what you're going to be doing anyway, when we have the Mercury going back into the sign of Leo on a Wednesday. So that's going to happen. And then, like, whatever that other person like says or does, you're going to be having to like think about it and sit with it the rest of the week. Like, I don't think you're going to move forward. Like, this is going to make you pause. This is going to make you think twice about your relationships. Don't focus on the other person. That's not really what you want to do. You want to focus on like something someone else says is going to make you like rethink the relationship or rethink that person. Like, you're going to see that person differently, but you should, like, yes, but also see yourself differently. You want to see, I've been approaching this relationship totally wrong. I've been approaching my relationship with my clients totally wrong. Or you may have a realization like, oh my God, I did not show up to this thing with this professional thing with enough emotional maturity. Oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be something that you're going to be processing like for the rest of the week. So it's going to put something kind of that you were excited about with the partnership kind of like on the back burner. So that's normal. Expect that it won't move forward again until like Sunday, Monday. That's when we're really going to know where we stand. And for you, you're going to know, hmm, okay. So for you guys, you're going to know this could actually be a big deal if you guys like are on like a work visa or any kind of like international thing or a litigious situation. This is what, or like a schooling thing, am I going to graduate or not, or are they going to add up the credits? I have no idea how that's scholastic. I'm not scholastically inclined, so I don't know how it works, but like, this can be that moment on Sunday when you really know where you stand in a litigious matter or with a publishing matter, with a marketing matter, with like a guru, guide, teacher, or foreigner, or anyone that stands to teach you something. This might even be a day when you are teaching other people. So you may even share your story. Maybe you are doing AA and you stand up and you do the thing and you never told your story before. You know, you may be the one to share what you've learned, and you may be the teacher to share what you've learned with students or something like that. Or it could be where you know where you stand with such a person. Then you're but here's the thing. Okay, so then the next day is the full moon in Aquarius, and it's your third house. So this is the culmination of like a mental change that has to happen. And honestly, like for you, that Venus at the top of your chart, Mercury's left by that point, but it's in that opposition with Saturn in the fourth, and together they're T squaring. That's a lot. And it might even be connecting with your Sagittarius placements by degree, if not by sign. So this is like for the mutables the biggest deal this week for you guys. So it really is a very big crisis in faith for you guys this week. And like there's no cramming for this test. Like it's 3 years in the making. So you have either leaned into it or you've been like fighting it the entire way. You've been open or and like it's weird talking like this because you're either going to open this week you're either going to open this week with like the self honesty that's going to make my words valuable to you, or you're going to open this week with a cognitive dissonance that's going to make my words useless to you. You know, like it's weird. So it's like, so I have to just remember that I'm trying to talk to both, and it's hard because I'm trying to help everyone at every state of consciousness. I remember when I was at fucking stupid states of consciousness. I remember it, you know. I want people to be gentle with me. There's certain states of consciousnesses that I'm probably dumb as shit at right now, but I would want someone to be gentle with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but anyway, so the Venus Saturn, that's going to be, you know, I would say I'm going to say for Sagittarius is this for all Saggies is going to be a huge download, a huge lesson, a huge, huge, valuable lesson, hugely, hugely, hugely valuable in what it takes to take care of yourself so that you can take care of the rest of your life, because that's what Saturn from 2023 to 2025 is showing you guys, is that you've got to take care of the basics first. You've got to take care of the basics before you can have anything else. So it's got to be, you know, taking care of the self, yourself, and then being able to have a relationship. Being, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like almost like back to basics for Sagittarius is. Or this could be major breakthrough for those of you that have been like leaning into the crunchy, you know, frustrating things that you've had to like work through mentally and spiritually the last couple of years. This is a huge breakthrough where you get to like there's a little bit of a pause, you know, but it's only a few days. It's not the rest of your life. It's enough of a pause to reflect, you know, kind of like go back to the and like, you know, and then that beautiful full moon happens, and it could be that you are ready for, you know, a big changeover in your life, that you're ready for a different kind of relationship or partnerships or audiences or clients or business partners because of the emotional growth and the mental growth that you've been putting into. But you're going to get the results. There's no cramming. Like I'm saying, like that's why I'm saying, like you can heal some things sometimes, but it's not like the point. The healing would have had to shown itself, and it already should have expressed itself by now. So there's a little clue. If you're cross watching for a Sagittarius that you're thinking they should have figured it out by now. Like they should there shouldn't be anything crunchy left, to be honest. So if they're not having that self honesty over the weekend with the Scorpio moon, it's already the fate's already sealed. And that's true for all of us, by the way. That's true for all of us. Okay. Because we are, I'm telling you, this is the last act of this like last big story before there's a whole new freaking trilogy of series that's going to start up September to November. Like it's a whole thing. So there's June, July, August, wrapping it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, Saggies, love you. This is so funny. Hey, Caps. I'm looking at this quarter moon that we're opening the week with on Monday is in Scorpio, and it's our 11th house of friends, groups, associations, and social media. And I'm just thinking about like everything I've said. It's just too funny. Like I'm definitely using my social media to draw like boundaries, and I'm like expressing like where those lines are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like over the weekend, bonds and boundaries with our friends, groups, our allies, people. So that's either like what we were doing or we were thinking about it. So like I was telling you guys in the overview over the weekend, I had a great little weekend. I love the mummy so freaking much. And so I had a great time. But like I was also thinking about every single person in my life and every single person that I talk to and every single person that I think about. And I was going full on scorpionic. Like when you think about someone, you get a sensation, you get a feeling that's somewhere in the body, or there's nothing that happens at all and you feel nothing nowhere. So every single person, you know what I'm saying? And so that's really what you want to do. If you haven't already been thinking about it over the weekend, Monday, perfect time. It's the quarter moon in Scorpio. There's a crisis in action that we've got to take. And maybe it is with friends, maybe it's with groups of people, maybe it's with social media, maybe it's you have like an online community or something, but it can also be with your goals or a dream or something you're trying to achieve or some kind of goal like I said that you're setting for yourself that you've got to take some action and advance and kind of move that forward in some way shape or form. But the challenge could be with getting like herding fucking cats and getting everyone like on the same page. You know what I'm saying? So there could be something like that. And like I said in my overview, I'm personally using this video as a means, as a way to try and get everyone organized. And really, like I said about good Christian buddy Natalie, no, it's not it. It's not it. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Um, so there's emotional honesty and emotional truth that should be there with your allies so that, here's what's great about having Scorpio on the 11th house for us is that if we have fans, they're fucking loyal as fuck. Okay. They're like little Scorpios. So what I also love is that if we have fans, if we have allies, if we have, they're deep people and they have standards of integrity and honesty and truth, with me and with us here. We all know that we've seen Scorpios and Capricorns that are like cronies together. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it could go dark, it could go very dark, but it's like you get to decide. So that's what we're doing in the beginning of the week. We're deciding our societies and our communities and where we belong and who belongs with us. So that's how we open the week. If you can stay really super duper, if you can set the bar high and keep it high and keep that like standard, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. So then life moves on. It moves forward beyond Monday. Middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we have the Mars Jupiter in our sixth house. I know, and I've known that my schedule is going to continue to change. And so this is kind of what I'm waiting for is this week and to kind of finish out August to like, all right, where's it going to land? How's it going to, you know what I'm saying? So staying flexible is going to be very important, but it's like we're really, really excited to hire, have staff, hire personnel, go to the office, be in the office, work with our coworkers, or, this could even be that there's someone trying to work for us, trying to work and so, maybe this is some kind of like representative or an agent or a manager or, something like that. But we're the ones slowing it down. I trust me, we are. We're the ones slowing it down because of something we've got to say. Something needs to be slowed down because it's out of the integrity, it's out of the alignment. So every Capricorn should be slowing things down from the middle to the end of the week because something needs to be, this could be contractual, this could be a conversation that needs to be had, this could be, maybe it's something a little bit more mundane for Caps. Maybe you're not the one slowing it down, but maybe there's just like something organically slowing it down. And maybe it's siblings, maybe it's contracts, maybe it's writing, maybe it's mm, something that you've got to get used to, mentally. But this could pose as some kind of challenge to the mentality, to the mind, to the ethics of the mind, to what we're saying. Like Capricorns for these 3 years from 23 to 25, we are very held tightly to the karma of our words and of what we say. It's just it's already whatever what we all say is already very magical and like invoking but it's like even more so with us because we're Capricorns and Saturn's our ruler and it's in our third house and it's in Pisces, blah, blah, blah. So there's something that there's where the challenge is. It's like a mental thing, it's a communications thing. I'm not looking forward to this week only because like I just see like we're probably gonna have to say something. We're probably gonna have to like talk about something. We're probably going to have to be the like I'm really seeing it as like Capricorns might slow everybody down this week, but it's like with what we say, it's like, but it's like we're trying to do it the right way and do the right thing the right way. So, that's really what it comes down to. It's like we have a higher responsibility to this integrity that we've got to make sure happens first. Then it's like maybe that slows things down for the weekend. Everyone goes back and thinks about it for a few days. On Sunday is when we know where we stand with that Mercury Kazemi in Leo in the eighth house. That's when we're really going to know what someone else is willing to share with us and where this relationship is going to go. So, this is either going to be like an ending, a closure, a stepping away, or it's going to be I'm going to trust Capricorn. I'm going to bond with Capricorn. I'm going to open up to Capricorn. This is really more so like the other person's like energy Caps. So no matter what it is, you respond, you don't react. So it could be that your partner, if you're already partner, their finances or their self-esteem could be, you could really see the truth of that. And you know where they stand with that like issue or that position, you know, or we could know where we stand with an investment. Something could be really fruiting, but probably going to be with another person. Like where do we stand with this person on this thing? Now, this is where the new moon was, and it was a beautiful new moon. So this is like just speaking to life change in general on a bigger level. I feel like we're going to be pretty comfortable with this. Amor fati. You have to just like love your fate. You just have to pledge your allegiance to your to like a higher integrity and believe in that. Believe that making decisions in truth, love, and integrity is just wherever it puts you is going to be the right path because it's out of truth, love, and integrity. And how could that possibly go wrong? So if you've been putting effort into mental health and spiritual growth the past few years, Capricorn, we're going to be great. We're going to be gravy. I was going to say groovy and gravy at the same time. Gravy. But we're going to be great. We're going to be just fine. So, this is like, we know where we stand, eighth house. This could be letting go. This could be dropping so much baggage. This could be dropping a heavy weight that's been just weighty the past like couple of years, and boom, there it is. Then Monday we have well, no, the Kazemi. There's also the Venus Saturn opposition, and then the T square, that sixth house. So that is very serious. That's a serious commitment, and that's when I'm looking forward to knowing how my daily life is going to change, because that's when I'll know. That's really when that weekend is really. That's going to be it. That's when we'll know. and we'll know if it goes one way or another. So it's very serious, it's very sober. Whatever it is, we're going to take it like a fucking champ, like we fucking are. Because we're like Rasputin. You cannot kill a fucking Capricorn. It just doesn't happen. The only way a Capricorn dies is when we fucking decide, when we pull ourselves out. That's when it ends. Otherwise, people try to rush and they have no idea that we're the lords of time, that any kind of waiting or delays or anything is always going to work in our favor. Unless you have Taurus in your chart, then you could fuck it up. But if you have more Saturn and it's like you're very Capricorn, then no. We reverse in our aging. We get younger as we get older. We get better as we get older. We feel better and lighter as we get older. No, we're going to be just fine. So it's very serious, very sober. We do great with that hard energy. So this is morals and ethics. And like I said, the mind, the mentality, and it's putting all the pressure on the day to day. How we show up to our minds, how do we show up to the moment? Are we positive? Are we looking forward? I wake up in these little moments throughout my day and I'm just so grateful and so happy. I'm like, I love every moment of every day. I love this part of my day and then I do this and I love that part of my day and then I'm doing this and I love this part of my day and like it's pretty great. So um have we I've discovered stoicism that has been probably the biggest aid for my mental health. And I only just discovered it at the end of 20. It was like around this time last year. Wow. But have we been trying? Have we been leaning into it? Have we been, in mental health, mental strength, and spiritual strength, spiritual confidence? So that's when things get pretty serious. It looks like maybe there's like you're changing offices or you're changing your daily routine, or there may be a serious commitment you're making to someone that works for you, maybe a personal assistant or an agent or manager or something like that, or like some kind of relocation stuff happening. You're making some plans, and that's when you really that's where it is. And then the full moon in the second house with Pluto and everything. Like honestly, the moon's quite full in Capricorn. It goes fully full in Aquarius. So we get a lot of this. We get a lot of the gifts and the juice and the fullness of this full moon. And so it's going to be kind of like a little hurrah hurrah for Capricorns, but it really is about the money that it brings in. It really is about the values that we have to show for ourselves. And it really is, that's really where we're going to see it. So, healthy self esteem, healthy self worth, and confidence. We could be spending money, we could be making money, we could be making a large purchase, we could be getting paid. There could be a lot happening here financially, financial changeovers happening, especially with the Kazemi in the eighth house. Knowing where we stand, there could be resources that become suddenly available to us. There could be that we are spending resources to help somebody else or to merge with somebody else. There could be a lot happening financially and business. But just remember, Michael, we're Michael. Okay. Just you business before friendship, Michael Corleone. And you've got to be gentle. Like, honestly, Michael, looking at his loser fucking siblings, what a great guy. What a great guy. Really, honestly. His trampy little sister, who's just all about the money and the guys ignoring her kids, like at Lake Tahoe. Woo. So, you got to be Michael Corleone and you have to look at everyone around you and you have to be the leader and you have to be kind and you have to be patient and you have to be gentle and you have to be mature and you have to be serious and you have to be but you can only do all of that if you keep your power, if you don't give your power away. So for caps, Mercury's going to go back into the eighth house. Mercury's going to go back into Leo Wednesday. So what was kind of part of the changeover happening around July 24th, 25th. And something could kind of come back up again with a very different view, very, very different view. So, Caps, look forward to this one because I know you guys have been working on this. I know you guys have been working on the mental health, mental strength, self confidence, self esteem, fortitude, taking the hard knocks and learning and growing from them, the self honesty, the self reflection, and communicating very seriously and very soberly. So look forward to this one. Congratulations to every single freaking one of us. Congrats. Have a great week. Not gonna lie, I'm an Aquarius moon. This could be really fucking hard for for some aquas this week and this like next like couple of weeks, or it could be like really amazing. Like, let's see. So the week opens with a quarter moon in Scorpio in our 10th house of like reputation and career and social status and the legacy that we leave behind and the face, the facade of our business or our marriage or whatever. And so over the weekend, it could have been kind of crunchy. It could have been, we could have been feeling very like private or making something a private feeling very public. And I was a little bit more self-expressive. I posted this like 2021 manifestation and I shared a little bit. I posted like on TikTok and stuff. So I had a little bit more fun with it. But and then I just like watched the mummy, like a root beer float was very like basic and glorious. But like so but Monday is the quarter moon. So this video is me kind of like telling everyone mostly that I'm not. I don't know how many times I've said it in this video. Take a shot. Good Christian buddy Natalie. No, 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 no. I'm correcting that. I'm correcting that. Let me disabuse you of that illusion. I read one little gospel. One little gospel. Don't ask me for shit. I'm still a Capricorn at heart with my moon in Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? So it's like be very empowered to draw the lines. That's me. I'm drawing boundaries. Ding, 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 ding. And you want to do the same, Aquas. Draw the boundaries in your professional space with professional people, with parents, with spouses, with you know what I'm saying? Like with your collaborators, with the public, with the legacy, like with your kids. Like this is the day you want to do it. And it's gotta be drawn on integrity. Okay. It's got to be true to you. So it's you know what I'm saying? It's got to be you shaped. It's got to fit you. So it might feel like kind of crunchy, like sure, I don't want to turn people off and turn people away. Um, but like I really do need to be clear that I'm not religious. I have like that has to be and people were starting I was seeing like some change like people were calling me and text me like and I'm like, well, I gotta fix this, you know. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual. I'm not religious, So you might have to set the record straight a little bit on Monday, but it's gonna feel crunchy and maybe a little alienating or whatever, but you gotta do it. You just gotta do it. We just gotta do it. And then we're gonna be fine the rest of the week. Wednesday, midweek is when we have the Mars Jupiter in the fifth house. We are so joyous and happy and over the moon. Maybe some of you guys are pregnant. Maybe some of your partners are pregnant. Maybe something is really happening that's exciting in the life of your children or your small business or your creative passion projects, or you're just so happy with your inner child. And your inner child is so like you're going through so much healing and it feels so good. And it's like, and it's really nice. You're just really happy. Hopefully, because some aquas are going to be a little bit more materialistic where they just want to buy a lot of shit. They just want to spend a lot of money or they want to go have a big fancy vacation and spend a lot of money. Like whatever it is, that's getting checked by the Saturn in your second house, in our second house. So ooh, it's either psychic slip. We read the omens here. Extra pay attention to this one. So it's either that we are reining it in financially and you're just not going to be like spending that much money on recreation or your children or your passion projects or there's there you know there or there's a slowdown because of a value difference. So it's like a financial thing, maybe even both. But there's something with the values, the self-esteem, the money that needs to be the priority above having fun. Above, maybe you want to give your kids more money, but the finances are not there. Maybe the kids are developing and they're like a child prodigy, but you cannot afford piano lessons. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's something that's like, let's slow it down. Let's think about this for a second. Or, maybe there's something really great happening with your small business and you're like, it's really popping, but maybe it's being successful and it's not in accordance with your values. Like maybe let's say the Mary Magdalene video like got super viral and people started thinking that I'm like Christian buddy Natalie. And I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't care if this is viral. I don't care if this is fucking successful. Don't call me that. It's not truth. You know what I'm saying? I don't identify like that. That's not the truth of look at my fucking page. It's telekinesis priestess. Okay. Like, I don't even know what Christians think about telekinesis, but like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, sure, all of that, but it's gotta pass the integrity test when it comes to your values. And you have to financially be able to afford it. So it has to make sense on all those kinds of cylinders. And honestly, you're either prepared for this and you're going to walk right through it, or this is the very thing that's been an issue for you for 3 years and it's finally falling apart because you didn't do it. You didn't like, um, you try to take shortcuts or you just didn't honor the integrity or you don't have good values or like you mismanage your money. You're like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's going to be something like that where, and we had the Pluto, um, the Jupiter, Saturn in Aquarius in our sign like end of 2020, like December 2020. That was a really big deal. That was a really big deal for us. I remember it very vividly. I don't know if you do. You should, but it was a big deal. So this is that. This is like, well, do you have better mental? What was in July? That was probably the hardest for us on the mental health way in July. And so it's like the moment, like I'm saying, like this is the top of act 3. This is like the momentum has been coming in, like, so it's like this is it, this is the result. And you've either been putting a lot in and leaning into that mental growth and that mental strength, that spiritual faith, that spiritual growth, spiritual values, or not. So the slowdown happens like midweek, and then everyone's going to need to process it, process. Be careful that you don't get into any fights with people. That Sagittarius 11th house stuff. Don't even fucking do what I'm going to do. I'm going to say what I got to say and let it go. If other people want to make decisions, whatever, that's their business. I'm going to say the truth and that's it. So that's what I recommend. It's kind of what I recommend. Not arguing, not conflict, not any kind of like fighting or anything. Um, and then you're going to really know where you stand with your partner, with another person, whether it's a business partner or a spouse or a child or any other person. You're going to know where you stand Sunday. Parent, even. That's right. There could be even parental adjustments that you've got to make in the beginning of the week, too. But you know where you stand Sunday. That's when the Mercury Kazemi happens. That's when they're going to tell you what the result is or what everyone came back with. And that Venus Saturn opposition with the T square, that is a commitment. That is like things are either falling apart and you're tearing it all down, or there's like a deeper commitment to a child, a creative passion project, your heart, your subconscious, subliminal self, or there's like an expense connected with this. And the expense could be financial and or like spiritual, like karma, like you got to pay on some karma, or you're taking in some karma from somebody. Like, like there's some kind of karmic reckoning a little bit for us, and it's financial. It has to do with another person. Maybe this is lovers. Maybe this is Wow, that really could be something there. That really could be like this would be like someone like declaring their love for you. Oh, that could be, oh my God. Oh my God, Aquas. This could be like five people declaring their love for you. And it's all gonna have to be checked by your morals and your integrity. I'm so tired. I'm crashing from my root beer float. And I shouldn't even have, this was only supposed to be like a last night thing, and it's I've already, so Aquarius. And honestly, it's really, you have like the pick of the litter because you're gonna have options, Aquas. I fucking hate that. It's, I swear to fucking God, they all come out like at the same fucking time. Like you're single and like you don't, and it's like nothing, and then it's like everybody wants you, or you get involved with someone, you're like dating someone, and then all of a sudden everybody wants you. Like I hate that. So, I mean, you might like it. You might be like, had an Aquarius best friend that was like that. She she was like, she loved that. She loved the Gemini fifth house. Um, but so Aquas, this could be like, just do your integrity. Just do your integrity. Take the quiz and find out what your love language is and what your apology language is. Because this could be something like that, but it's your full moon. It's your full moon. Don't forget that. It's yours. It's about what makes you happy. And you honestly have to think like, who is going to, if that is what it is for some of you, you've got to think like, who's going to like love me the best? Who can understand? Honestly, I'm not even sure if I believe anyone can understand me anymore. Like that might have been asking for too much. Like honestly, there's Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. There's Neo and Trinity. There's Rick and Evie O'Connell. There's Isis and Osiris. Like there's, like there's that, but like I don't know. You need to be choosing people not for like money, but who's can really like who but I see, I don't know. I don't know if people can really get you or not. Like, is that asking too much? Maybe. I don't even know if I believe women are understood or feminine energy is understood. I don't even know if it's meant. I'm not even sure if that's even something to like want or expect is to be understood. Like maybe the feminine is just supposed to be mysterious. Maybe it's supposed to stay mystical. Maybe it's just never supposed to be demystified. Maybe Aquarius, maybe we're just never meant to be understood. Maybe we're always supposed to be far away from people, even though we're right next to them. Maybe friendship is where we're understood. Maybe that's why we always look for partners in friendships. But maybe that's it. Maybe friends are supposed to understand us and lovers. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm no help on this one. I'm sorry. Find a different. I'm sorry. I really blew this one. Um so okay. So there might be like a bunch of options for Oculus. But if anyone, okay, here's the thing. If that's the case, you've had 3 years of figuring this figuring this out, of not taking people for like the wrong reasons. So we should be smart enough to make better choices creatively and romantically. I already told people on my Patreon, I shared a very weird story where I saw a timeline with someone. And for me personally, I can looks like. And I saw like that we had like a child, like a son. And I was like, oh my God. And I turned away from it. I turned away from that. That's so aquas. If people are just like sprouting up, this is like after I put up the Mary post, it's like if people are sprouting up, coming out of the woodwork to like want to be with you, but they weren't there for you when it like really mattered, or they weren't there for you when no one else was there for you, or like it's so easy for people to validate you when other people validate you. How did I just read this to? I read this to somebody. Some people need to see other people validate you first before they truly realize they've been watching you validate yourself the entire time. So maybe aquas are going to have like, people wanting to be with them after they see other people validate them. It's too fucking late. It's just too late. Wait till you meet new people, Aqua. Meet new, different people and give them a chance because you don't have to give anyone another chance. You don't have to give anyone a second chance. Why don't you give a different person their first chance? You know? So have a very high, like, moral standard financially and your self esteem, self worth throughout all of this. This is your full moon. So it's like really about what you want. Like, yeah, you'll know where you stand with the other person on Sunday with that Mercury Kazemi, but it's about what you want. It's about you. So that other person, like that other partner for you is either going to like be there for you or they're just not. And if they're not, you're going to have so many options coming through. So don't even like sweat it, Aquas, like at all. Okay, that's it. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to the grand finale of this video. We have you guys opening the week with the quarter moon in Scorpio in your ninth house. So there's like some crunchy feelings over this past weekend for the Pisces, like the 16th. No, I'm crashing from the root beer float from the 10th, 11th, and 12th. So, but this is Monday. It's a quarter moon in your ninth house. This is like crunchy feelings over the weekend coming into Monday about a foreigner or about a teacher, guru, guide, maybe a marketing thing or a publishing thing that's like you need to put up your boundaries when it comes to your morals and your ethics. Like, really, really, like, really, 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 really. Like, if you can do that Monday, you're going to set yourself up for like a much better, crazy week that everyone's going to have this week. So there could even be legal challenges for some of you, but it depends if you've been getting all up into that. So there's that. Then, like midweek, like Tuesday, Wednesday, there's going to be the Mars Jupiter and Gemini in your fourth house of home and hearth and kith and kin. So it's like you could be wanting to expand. Maybe you're renovating and building a home, buying homes, buying your second homes, doing real estate stuff, working from home, trying to maybe, but you might actually be the one to slow this down. Like, especially if like someone in your home, like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a mom or a parent, if they're wanting to go gung ho about something, you're going to be the one to be like, wait a minute, we're not going to have a kid until XYZ, or we're not going to buy a house until XYZ, or we're not going to move until XYZ. Like, you might be the one to really say, like, no, we're not doing that yet. And it could be because of it's out of integrity. It could be because you can't afford it. It could be because the timings are off. But I see you kind of like, you could even be holding yourself back from getting excited about something. Like, you could be, you're ready to make some changes, but it's because you have to take yourself more seriously and take like your whole entire life more seriously. So it's kind of like going to get kind of crunchy. News comes in, maybe a family member tells you something, maybe someone's pregnant, maybe there's something's coming in middle of the week. You're slowing things down. You need to think about it. Something's rocking you emotionally, like middle week, and you got to think about it. You got to like chill for a second. I would say be careful to try not to fight with like people at work or your roommates or people you're living with or people that feel like family. Then things will sober up and help you a little bit with the Capricorn moon, but you'll really know where you stand Sunday. That's when you have the Sun Mercury Cazimi in your sixth house. And that's when maybe you're moving offices. Maybe you are, or you know where you stand with like a coworker, not a coworker. This would be like someone that works for you, like staff or yeah, someone that you employ. This can also be a health issue where you know where you stand with like a health issue. Like so like a someone could like give you the news about your health or your mental health too. And it leads into the full moon. That is your 12th house of mental health, secrets, sorrows, self undoing. You might need to spend time in the hospital, or you might need to take a big long vacation, or you may need to get away. Like this might be like your last day at the office, and then you're just like working from home, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like there might be something about you where Pisces just, I have my midheaven in Pisces. So like, I'm like here and then I'm not. I'm online and then I'm not. And then I pop up over here and then I disappear again. And then you know what I'm saying? Like a little magic trick. You might, so you are that. Like Pisces, like you're there and then you're not. Like people just need to accept that about you and just let you appear and reappear according to your own whims. That's the Pisces, that's Sagittarius, that's Gemini, and that's Virgo, all in their own ways. The escapism. So, whether it's like physically moving and physically being away, or not posting on social media and being away, or even being physically present, but you're drinking and you're drugging and you're not like really there, or alcohol, like there could be like you want to escape or you like escape something about your daily life, maybe there's or escape maybe you're trying to escape something that bothers you, very behind the scenes. Something is like not sitting right with you, like morally or ethically, and that's maybe why you're slowing something down. And you may slow it down, but you're slowing it down because you're having like a really big realization, and that's when you just like maybe disappear like outer space or something, or like you go on vacation. There's so many places on TikTok that I just bookmark because it looks beautiful and wonderful, and I'm sure you could figure something out. Maybe a staycation, maybe like a retreat. Don't get scammed though. Don't like, not that retreat, like kind of a retreat, like just you know um but like honestly, have you been putting into mental health? Have you been putting into mental strength? Have you had integrity in all of your dealings? Have you been, you know being a stand-up guy, a stand-up girl? Have you been really, I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, but I always associate, watch The Godfather, I always associate Fredo energy with Pisces, because that's low vibe Pisces. So if you've been if watch Godfather, and if you're like Fredo, no bueno, no bueno. So you cannot be cowardly. You need to have spiritual faith and like stand up for that. So this is like, if you've been like unsettled and you don't know why or what it is, you're gonna know next week. That full moon's going to light up your subconscious. It's going to light up something that you cannot see about yourself, or it's going to expose a secret of yours, or you may voluntarily expose a secret of your own, or you may have been plotting and scheming and planning something behind the scenes, and now you're telling everybody what your plans are. And probably that you're going to dip or leave or withdraw your support, or like unsubscribe, unfollow, um pull back your presence a little bit. And you might need to do that in order to intuit and divinate your next like move or next steps in life. Because the Venus Saturn opposition and the T square, this is really putting a lot of stress on your relationships. And yeah, it's just going to be like something this week, middle of this week. It's all of it's kind of like, why do I keep doing that? All of it's kind of like coming to a head and coming to like a crescendo. And it's every area of life. It's you, it's your partnerships, it's your business, it's your home, it's your living situation, it's your family, it's your trajectory, it's your reputation, it's all of that. So these are very big life changes. But what's been going on over the last 3 years? Last 3 years, you should have put so much into mental health and mental strength and mental resilience. So that's what needs to come through for you at this time. Because if it's not there, it's all going to fall like a deck, like a house of cards. I'm going to close down my readings soon. You can book and you can hold it. They never expire. But they're going to be unavailable like forever soon. And I won't be able to remote view for hire for people. I am moving on to other spiritual projects. I have bigger spiritual and psychic feats that I have to do, that I have to show people. Um, so if you have a crisis, I would book, I would have one with me um at the ready if things like if shit really does hit the fan for you, because this could be an absolute mental fucking breakdown, and it could set a horrible precedent for the next 20 years of your life. It's that big of a deal. It's a big deal. All right, I love you, Pisces. I love you very much. I love you. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one.